Are you sure about that?
Hi! We did it.
Can't believe you thought we'd be late.
I'll put that over there for now. There you
Yes. I'm gonna go and get the other. I'm gonna go grab the other extension lead super quick because also like if we have like a bench computer and all the rest of it on here, probably shouldn't be running this at the same time off of all of that.
go. It's fine.
Although that actually
240 volt master race.
What even is this? Yeah, no, it's 2100 watts. I'm getting the
Yeah?
other thing. Yeah.
It's fine.
We don't have to run it all off of a single socket.
I mean, no, we don't, but we could. We have the power. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Anyway. Is this the one with the burn marks?
Not burn marks. It's just there's an old earth pin jammed into one of the sockets. I put a cross on it so we know not to use that one.
It's like bloody Si with his socket of, oh yeah, don't plug the kettle into this one or it'll melt.
Oh, I mean that one was literally a melted socket. You know, this is just an earth pin snapped off in there when I was unplugging it. You know, like the shutters are still closed. You can't accidentally kill yourself with this. It's just, you know.
Just intentionally.
Hi everyone, how are we all? Welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. Right.
Thanks for joining us today. Today we're just doing an easy little painting.
Oh.
I am awake!
Okay. Right. Yes. Hello. We are here. Reading through chat. Not late. Who are these clowns? You're the clown. Got 'em. Right. Today we'll be cooking soup. No, actually.
I mean, it could be soup.
It could be soup.
I'm sure we could find some things to put in his little croutons. Would you like some croutons with your glühwein?
I wonder if we could do some kind of terrible PC soup. Like, what would the croutons be? Like some foam packing peanuts or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, just thermal paste instead of tomato puree or something. There's a joke in here somewhere. No, we still have 2 bottles of mulled wine to get through. So yeah, we got to drink them at some point. So yes. Let's see. Also, it's really funny that JD has started nagging you about the merch instead of me. Like, this is how I survive. I resist for long enough until they realise that nagging me doesn't actually work, and you've got to go after someone else instead. I'm like, now the problem has gone away.
It's fine.
You know.
All you have to do is say you're disappointed.
Where's the degramer? I have retained the bottles. They're just not on show because I need to sort this out at some point. So yeah.
This all needs to go in a bin bag.
Probably, yeah. Spectre asked about Switch 2 opinions. You know, I'm gonna cover this super fast. I have no opinions because we don't fucking know anything. Everyone is banging on about the Switch 2, and I'm like, we know nothing. We have learned nothing. All we know is that it exists.
Yes.
There are leaks of the specs which are, at this point, probably accurate because the pictures line up with what the reveal shot was. Other than that, they have announced nothing except that it exists. So, I have no opinions because we know nothing. There is no price, there's no official specs, we don't know what it's aiming for. Like, yeah. People have speculated that based on the specs, it will have akin to original PS4 performance, but like we don't know whether that's theoretically what it would be capable of. We don't know whether Nintendo are actually going to be targeting that. There are many things that it might be able to do, but Nintendo have announced nothing except for the fact that it exists.
The main thing about the Switch 2 that we know will be an improvement over the Switch 1 is it actually has some memory.
This is true.
Because doesn't
But
the
again,
Switch
these-
1 have like
4.
3 or 4 gigs?
4 gigs, yeah. Whereas the new one, the
When-
leaked specs say 12. So, like, again,
Yeah.
based on the leaked specs, it looks like it will be a substantial improvement. But again, like, without knowing anything, without knowing like price or anything like that, we don't know what screen it will have.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
To
So-
go on a little speculation thing, if it is, I'm guessing they're going to go for like half an inch bigger, knock the bezels down a little bit,
something like that, yeah.
smooth out some of the designs, blah 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 blah. If it is a just over 720p handheld display again
Yeah.
and OLED, I think that's the best option for it.
It needs to be price competitive with the
And then
Steam
it
Deck,
comes
in
in
my
at
opinion.
£350.
Yeah.
That sort of order,
Yeah.
I think would be okay. I wouldn't get one
Yeah.
because I have a high-end gaming PC
Yeah.
and I'm not overly interested in any of the exclusives that Nintendo produce. However, that would feel like not a terrible disservice to people.
I'm vaguely interested in it as for what it is, but also just as I say, I'm just kind of annoyed that my YouTube subscriptions page is covered with Switch announcements and Switch 2 and stuff, and I'm like, we know nothing. We've had a teaser with a picture of it. That's it. That's all we have. We have nothing. We know nothing. Oh my God! Everyone, please shut up. So yeah, just nah.
Hilariously, just to
When there's an actual announcement with more details,
Yeah.
I will be interested in talking
if
about
the
it.
leaked specs are true,
Yeah.
it will end up meaning that it's functionally more performant than an Xbox Series S is.
Really?
Well, because it actually has enough memory.
I-
Because it's a unified memory design and has 12 gigs.
I guess. How much
It's-
has the Series S got?
10 and it's split.
Oh God, 10. Bloody hell.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
How does the Series S compare to a PS4 OG though in terms of performance? Surely it's got way more CPU though.
Yeah, but it's got
But it's
massive
just
memory,
memory
problems, and
Yeah.
you can have a 4060 Ti with 8 gigs of VRAM and get 1 FPS on your 1% lows because you run out of VRAM.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Interesting, yeah. Yeah. Well, at the very least, it does look interesting that they have target the. Again, I say we don't know anything, but obviously, I guess in a way we do know something because the pictures existing does confirm that those leaked specs are probably accurate. So I guess we do know something to that extent because we now know that the leaked specs are probably correct. So we can speculate on that.
yeah,
So yeah, and it does look like it will have some half decent performance then. But
it looks like it should.
but
It looks like
without-
it shouldn't be massively disappointing.
Yeah.
I think is more
again,
my
again
point.
just without knowing the price though,
Yeah.
the price is everything because if it's like 300 £350, it's like a case of, you know what, that sounds pretty good. You know, I might go. That's going to be that would be a tough call to choose between a Switch 2 or a Steam Deck. However, also it might come out and they might turn around and say, yeah, it's £500 because we're Nintendo, F you. In which case it's a case of, okay, well, no, then that's not a good deal in the slightest.
Yeah.
You buy a higher tier Steam Deck or a lower tier handheld, you know. So yeah. All right, yeah. Joe G says I'm willing to bet it will be $500. Yeah, yeah. Some speculate £400 LCD screen. I mean, I can't see a world where it wouldn't have an OLED screen on it because otherwise it would be a downgrade.
Yeah, 'cause the current one is already
Yeah,
a nice OLED.
yeah. I can't see a world where it won't be OLED. So yeah. Right, let's skim through the chat and then I guess. Yeah.
So I
was
have
gonna
a
say-
semantics question for you,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
quickly. So the little blinky lights.
Yes, I'll get to you in just a sec.
The little blinky lights we have on devices.
Yeah.
The 3-letter acronym. What are they called?
LED.
Yes. The display technology which makes them organic. What's that? OLED.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
People! I just, it's just, yeah. I'm not
think
saying
it's just
one is
because-
wrong.
yeah,
but
I guess-
just like,
saying LED for an LED sounds weird. It's completely acceptable. It just sounds odd, so we end up just saying LED. Some people say LED, like Dave Jones from EEV blog. He just says, "Oh, there's a LED there,"
yeah.
I think it's legitimate. However, with OLED, because you've now got 2 syllables in there, it sounds acceptable to say LED.
Yeah,
At that
I think
point,
it's
especially
also
because OLED, that's starting to become a mouthful now, whereas
Yeah.
LED isn't really a huge mouthful.
I think also the other thing as well is lead is a metal,
Yeah,
is to take someone somewhere,
yeah,
and now is the third thing.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I just find it funny we kind of
yeah.
do that with certain abbreviations and stuff.
Ugh, yeah.
Or the
All
other
right.
one, someone was talking about the new RX 5090 GPU. And I was just like, the what? Oh, right. Because universally we've agreed in English that we're calling it 5090,
Yeah.
not 5090.
In other news, I've been listening to one of the classic albums from hit band Blink 182.
Yeah. It's just like, oh,
Okay, right.
my population.
Skimming through the chat, Tatemon says, we know we're here to speculate, of course. Yeah, that's fair, Tate. And in all fairness, I was kind of very dismissive of the Switch 2 people there wanting to talk. It is fun to speculate on things. I do agree about that. I think I'm just kind of slightly annoyed that everyone has immediately gone to press with Switch 2 release videos when actually there is nothing to talk about except speculation. And I don't know. It feels like people quickly capitalizing on the buzzword of the day is Switch 2 announcement drop. But it's all got vibes of like when it's like when people drop movie title drop kind of thing, and you get like a 30-second teaser that is just the title of a movie that's coming out, and I'm like, okay, so we know that the movie exists. And then everyone's just like, let's talk about what we think is going to happen in the movie kind of thing. I'm just like, we don't know anything. No one knows anything. But because because Nintendo descended from their throne of gold to say, yes, we are actually making the Switch 2, which obviously we knew they were working on because they had to do it eventually. Everyone's, I don't know, yeah. I guess, yeah. I'm rambling and I'm being grumpy about it, but it's just because it's a bugbear of mine. It feels like this feels like cashing in on a thing that has been announced, not because there's actually anything of substance here, kind of thing. So, yeah. Okay, right. There is a lot in chat that I want to get to. Hello, Paul, by the way. How's it going? I am going to quickly just back up to... Sai said, should we tell the people where we got to last week? Yeah. I'll be brief on this. So, obviously, last week we were at Sai's place, and we were doing the water cooling build. So, for those of you who aren't... I put updates in the Discord, but for those of you who don't keep up with the Discord, TLDR, we went and got a Chinese, and then we got back to work, and then we got all of the wiring done. Then we came back the next day and we fixed we adjusted the pipes at the top, which were the big problem ones that were causing us so much heartache. We adjusted those, got them fixed. It got finished, is the short answer. It was completely done, and it got completed. I do still plan to try and make a video out of it all, but I have not even begun to approach that yet. I haven't even ingested all of the video footage. I need to do ingest on all the video footage so I can start sorting through it and start trying to piece together a coherent storyline.
Yes.
So that's the first step. So it's going to be a while for that. That video is not going to be quick. However, I am going to do my best to make it happen. It's going to be a very difficult one, but I'm going to try and get a video out of that. We got enough footage. After we were done, we recorded an outro and stuff like that. The footage to finish the video exists, basically. And also, even though the stream was 6 hours long or something like that, from about the 3-hour marker onwards is all just faff. And so when I get to editing, once I get to the 3-hour point of the podcast footage, I can probably just stop editing it from there and skip to whatever else we had. So even though that podcast was 6 hours long, I don't actually have to edit 6 hours worth of footage because, most of it was guff that I will just immediately discard. So yes, it got done, and hopefully there will be a video, but it's a long way off yet. Right. Hey Treb, by the way. Treb said it should have been called the Super Switch. I've seen a couple of people say sort of, oh, that's a crap name. They should, I'm disappointed in the name. And I'm like, I don't see what else they could have called it, because at the end of the day, it is a new console. Calling it a Super Switch implies that it's an upgrade or something like that. And it's like, no, it is an entirely new console that has backwards compatibility. I actually think it's a breath of fresh air for them to just call it the Switch 2, because I'm sick and tired of naming schemes that don't make any sense. Like I'm looking at you, Xbox.
It's just called the Switch.
Yeah.
The first one was called Switch. The second one is called the Switch.
Yeah.
The next one will be called Switch 2037.
Yeah. I'm just like that. Yeah. It's just, can we actually just call it a Switch 2 because that makes the most sense? People understand concurrent numbering mechanisms. So yeah.
Switch 2, Electric Boogaloo.
All right. The design does look nice. Yeah, it looks like they've slicked it up a little bit. Interesting choice to make it bigger. Lots of people complain that the Switch Joy-Cons are too small, and I agree with that, but it's almost like they're designed for children. Who'd have thunk it? Like, you can just buy a Pro Controller for a Switch, and I think the Switch is already, like, when you see a kid holding a Switch, he's just like, as it is. So, I think it's a bold move to make it bigger, but, fine. Sorry, I just saw on the preview me going, because it's a couple of seconds behind. Right. What's the temperature in the studio? Bloody freezing here. Yeah, it's cold here as well because I refuse to turn on the heating. All right. Let's see. I'll not be buying a Switch. I'll stick with my Steam Deck since it can play Switch games and more. Yeah. As with lots of people say, I don't see the point in consoles. I'm like, that's because you have a gaming PC. But normies don't own gaming PCs. That's the big thing. If you don't own a gaming PC, suddenly a console makes an awful lot of sense. So, yeah. Is that a saucepan? It is. End sentence. Yeah. I will not elaborate. However, also, I would like to heat some of that glow wine. I'm gonna heat some of that nonsense up and drink it.
Okay.
We're gonna drink the
how's
nonsense.
the thing for desktop icons?
I don't know. We will explain why the test bench is out in a minute. I'm doing audience interaction here.
Feel appreciated. You're being interacted with.
Indeed. Yeah. Switch 2 might undercut the Steam Deck in price. Nintendo isn't into selling expensive hardware. I mean, the Switch was expensive for what it actually was. Well, maybe not at the time. It just became expensive when in the later days when just the hardware became increasingly outdated and better stuff came onto the market.
Yeah.
I think the Switch 2 will... There's two trains of thoughts. Like, for people like us, it's easy to say it needs to be competitively priced because the Steam Deck exists. There is a crowded market of handheld gaming consoles now. But also, normies don't know about those and don't care about those. The Switch is an enormous brand name. And Tesco and Nintendo.
Tesco?
I don't know why I thought of Tesco then. And Nintendo, they both end in O. Nintendo.
Oh God, the Tesco value Switch, and it just comes in a white and blue box, and the Joy-Cons are white and blue.
So yeah, I feel like Nintendo could ask for an irrational amount of money, and I think it will sell because Nintendo asks for an irrational amount of money for many things, and people will quite happily bend over and ask for another one, please. You know, this is a thing. This is why Caradog and I don't particularly like Nintendo, because they will consistently rip off the consumer, and the consumers turn around and ask for more. You know. But I'm not going to drill into this because, yeah, I can't be bothered to belabor the point. Nintendo are very Nintendo hate their fans. These are facts. So, yeah.
Heck.
Nintendo adults will pay $1,000 because Nintendo. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to pay actually $1,000, but that's my point. While it's easy to say it has to be competitively priced because there are competitors, I don't know. I think Nintendo have got enough market clout to say, you know, heck you, it costs $500. I would not put that past them. Or they're going to do some other kind of nonsense move where there are obligatory, you know, it doesn't come with a charger and the charger's £50 or something like that. There'll be some kind of nonsense involved. So the Nintendo experience is seamless though. Sure, I'll concede that point, but yeah, I will concede that point, and that does give the Switch value. You know, this is why the Switch is still possibly an option. However, that doesn't make Nintendo any less contentious. This is kind of like saying that the Apple experience is seamless. This doesn't mean that Apple aren't incredibly anti-consumer and know that they can ask whatever irrational price they want for the new iPhone. You know, remember that iPhones are now a 4-figure sum of money, which is buck wild. It's absolute insanity to have a phone that costs $1,000. That is insane. I will never think that's not insane. However, Apple people go out and buy them, both normies and tech users equally. I think they're insane. I think it's nuts. So yeah, it's seamless, but that doesn't mean that it's not irrational. So, better than the folds that cost $3,000. Oh yeah, don't even get me started on foldables. So yeah, I say this knowing full well that Caradog has a Pixel Fold on the desk right now. So yeah.
Fucking.
How much was it?
Pow.
How much was it?
£1,700.
Oh, that's buck wild, man.
Okay.
However, enjoy your Fold. I think it's insane. So you could just have two phones. You could dual wield. But no, you had to have the big two hands. You had the big Claymore. Oh yeah, you got. Here we go. Yeah. No. Did I know you had the Huawei Foldable? Is that the Huawei Foldable?
No, it's the Pixel Fold 1.
There are two of them. Why do you have both of them? Get this out. Get this out of my sight. I'm heating wine. Why can't I hold all these foldables? All right. I thought you were going to pull out your iPhone SE or something like that, which I know you carry around just for secondary accounts, you know. And I was going to be like, okay, look, I know you have a second phone for just like, for, you know, just so you can keep business and personal separate and stuff like that. But fine. Get out of my store. Right. Anyway.
Can I interest you in Norton 360 for gamers?
Why do you even have that? Oh, you're looking in just drivers and software and so I don't know. Okay. Well, do you want to explain what you're up to, or do you want me to introduce ideas?
You can do both. I'm literally just unzipping all of these folders currently, so I can then actually install stuff.
I see.
That's all.
Understandable. Okay. Well, fine. So the reason why the test bench is out is one of the things to do today is myself, Caradog, and JD. I guess I'm roping. You're part of this now. You've been drafted. We have been brainstorming a video that will be titled "RAM speed does not matter," or words to that effect. And this is a response to, I mean, the iron's gone cold now anyway, but it doesn't matter. This was a response to a Jay's 2 cents video he did, where he did a video basically saying that high-speed RAM doesn't make a difference. And the video kind of misses the point by a mile. The conversation is far more nuanced than that. There are situations where it does matter and situations where it doesn't matter. So we've started brainstorming a video where we actually explain when it matters and when it doesn't matter, so you can then look at that and consider whether it matters to you or not. Because that's the thing, it does and does not matter depending on what hardware you're running and what software you're running. There are certain instances where it absolutely matters, but there are also certain instances where it's not going to matter. You know, if you're trying to get high scores in Cinebench, you don't care about memory speed because Cinebench doesn't care about memory speed. There are certain CPUs that don't really care about memory speed, but there are certain CPUs where running slow memory will absolutely hobble their performance. So basically, but in order to do this, we're actually scripting this video and we actually want to make a professional video here. So I'm gonna let you talk.
No, I just realised I started installing board-specific stuff to this Windows install, and you said you wanted to image the updated version of Ghost Spectre.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
But I just realised I'd started installing stuff specific to this board.
I mean, I can uninstall a single thing, so it's fine.
But it was just the fact that I was just like,
yeah.
Fool!
Yeah, if you just quickly snapshot C onto your external or something now before you install anything else, then I've just got one thing to uninstall once I'm done.
Exactly.
So yeah.
It's a timing configurator, so you can overclock the RAM on everyone's computers.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's fine. Yeah. This is just for internal use anyway, so that's fine. Anyway, yeah, so basically that's another thing we might do today is because we need to sit down and start building up timing profiles for some platforms in order to do tests, because we want to show high-end examples of a tuned system demonstrating how high-speed tuned RAM will increase performance. But also part of that is the juxtaposition of, but this is how far you have to go in order to get to that benefit, which is one of the reasons why it doesn't matter, because it's not reasonable to expect the average person to do all of this, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's why the bench is out, because we want to start doing the experiment, and that means we can bring that conversation here and get some back and forth on it. So yeah. So yes, right. Scanning through the chat. What's up, Mike's Unboxing? Phone and iPhone XR launched for 600 plus, and it's lasted for 6 or 7 years. Yeah. That's about the same as wasting £100 each year on a cheap Android that doesn't get support for more than a few months. Yeah, definitely. I do. For the record, I'm not against flagship products, but there's a ceiling to that. You know, like for example, I've got a Pixel 6 that has lasted me. Like, I bought this Pixel 6 when the 7 had just been released, if my memory serves me. So it was basically last year's flagship, and I think I spent like £300 on it, £320 refurbished on Amazon.
Yeah,
for last year,
right.
and this is still going strong, and I have no desire to replace it. Yeah. You know, so that's the thing. There's a ceiling to this. You can buy last year's flagship for a fraction of the price of a current flagship, and it will last you a long period of time. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy flagship phones, but buy last year's flagship because it's fine, basically. It
becomes way more relevant with the Pixel 8 and 9 because they've guaranteed much longer updates for them as well.
And even now, this is still getting new versions of Android.
Because this
is still running the latest.
3 years. I think the 6 was 3 years guaranteed.
Yeah.
And they recently extended that. whereas the 8 and 9 are saying like 9 years guaranteed.
Yeah. And also,
which
like,
is just a case of kind of sweet, but also after like 8 years.
I'll be impressed if the phone lasts that long. Like, your battery's going to be shot by that point. But then on the other hand, if you're repair conscious, you might be like, well, actually, yeah, suddenly it becomes worth putting a new battery in my phone.
Yeah.
Because that's an argument against phone repair, is that by the time they're actually, when the point comes that the hardware is breaking down, the software is probably knackered, which means you want a new phone anyway. And that's one of the annoying parts about repair, is it's all very well making something that is highly repairable, but if the software and the phone itself is irrelevant by the point that it needs repairing, you're not actually going to repair it. So it's one of the arguments in favour of not caring about repair, because by the time that you will actually want to repair it, you also want to replace it. But obviously that's another discussion entirely.
Hey.
So yeah. So yes, JD says, I've always been a part of it. It's kind of my fault. Yes, good. I was basically just double checking just before I, like I say, kind of roped you in on this, because, having some extra people involved is probably a good thing.
JD did very helpfully share a lot of useful information.
Oh,
with
yes,
me.
I saw. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm saying I want this video to exist, and but also I don't have the expertise to do it. Kind of like the conversation we were having earlier on. Actually, I can plan a video, but I don't actually have the expertise to execute it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just being like, you'll do this for me, right? So I hope you have an interest in doing this for me.
Oh, I can do the thing, because I was just like, I know what I'll do. Because this comes as a portable distribution, I now have a portable browser on my flash drive.
Oh, neat.
Pow! Portable driver. Browser.
Sean Mansell says, is the Pixel 6 on battery recall? Not that I'm aware of. My battery seems to be fine. If there was a recall that my phone's included in, I'm not aware of it.
I think there was a thing where basically they changed the battery warranty, so they made it longer.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, I don't know about anything else specifically. Huh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, the option to repair is nice regardless. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, I believe that everything should be repairable on principle, because also, me saying by the time the device needs repair, it's probably obsolete. This is predicated on the assumption that nothing happens to it before then. Like, a brand new phone can just have a bad battery in it that fails after 13 months or something like that, just because bad luck, and at that point it's a sealed phone that you can't replace the battery on, kind of thing. That's why we need repair. So for the record, I'm not saying, I do believe that everything should be repairable at face value, but theoretically more often than not, so yeah. Right, I'm going to quickly grab a glass or two so I can measure out some of this wine and start heating it, and then
the answer is all of it.
Probably. The pint glass needs cleaning.
Tools, options.
Stand by, everyone.
ISO.
I'm washing the glass, I'm not in the bathroom.
Oh, also, I remember a while ago you were complaining about 7-zip being janky in its configuration or its setup.
Yeah, just the user interface isn't exactly polished.
I mean,
I know it doesn't
file
need to
manager.
be, but it's also just like, it's been better in recent times, but at some point it felt like whenever I installed 7-zip, it didn't take file associations properly. And if you wanted to open it with, you had to it wouldn't recognize.
Oh yeah, you have to set them.
Yeah, and that's dumb, because also when you set them, you have to go into the you have to drill into your program files, and there's 2 executables in there with no indication on which one is the one you want to associate it with, and things like that. You know, and it's just
Yeah. The other thing you can do is if you go Tools, Options, and literally just click that plus and then apply,
and it
then
will
it'll
take
assign
them.
them.
And like,
Yeah.
this is easily solved. But why doesn't the installer do this for you? This is not a new phenomenon. Why hasn't this been solved?
Probably, because also people want the option of having several managers installed, because there will be those people.
Okay, but then have the installer
just like,
say, would you like 7-zip to take file associations?
Oh no!
This is what an installer is for. This is literally what the wizard is for. You know.
Snapshot.
Hawkeye. Right. JD says, Caradog, while we are busy today, do you want me to pay for / grab the H16A or H24M timings? I don't know what that means.
Before you do any of that, I need to find out what my RAM kits are.
Okay.
I will find out what they are explicitly before we do anything else.
Yeah. And also, Trev says, is that bad battery within warranty? Yeah, obviously, when I said 13 months, that was an arbitrary, like, a month out of warranty. Obviously, if it's covered under warranty, then whatever, it's not your problem.
Backup disk.
But yeah, I'm taking the instance of has failed young, but just out of warranty, which is the sucky point for something to fail. It happens with a lot of, like, is the sucky part about a lot of gaming laptops, for example. Gaming laptops tend to have a short lifespan and they tend to fail just out of warranty. The exact point where you're basically just shit out of luck because it's a really good laptop, but it's just out of warranty, and now I guess you go and buy another one for £1,600 kind of thing. So yeah, same with phones kind of thing, and laptops, just out of warranty where you're completely out of luck and the device is new enough that it's a crying shame kind of thing. All right.
Backing up.
Yeah. Also, SLD, I'm just going to say this now. Can we not have another stream of you telling us about your water cooling system? Because I have to read through this every week and it grates on me. I will say no more. I will pour this wine. Right. I will.
Oh shit, backing up at 46 gigs a minute. There we go. That's the speeds we should be doing.
I didn't even know Snapshot would go to those numbers. Whack. That's cool. I'll pour out a pint of this to start with.
Yeah, imaging from the SSD in the machine over Thunderbolt 5 into Thunderbolt drive, which is a Gen 5 NVMe. So yeah, it can actually do it. There we go. You have fully snapshotted.
Very well. How big is this bottle? 1 litre. Oh yeah, okay, that sounds about right then. Oh my god, yeah. So it's. I've realised now, just based on these, that if we drink the whole wine, then I've just drunk a pint of wine.
Yeah.
So okay.
Next question.
The last time we were doing this, it wasn't until after the show that I realised, because I came in and it was slightly more full. I was like, did you top me off? And you're like, no. And I was like, huh, weird. I thought I drunk more than that. And afterwards, I went to the Discord and everyone was just like, oh, and I'm like, you asshole. This is not what friends do.
Isn't it?
But also it is. Le Powell. What did we decide worked for this? Like
you have to leave it on 5
to get it going, yeah.
Because the timing intervals are wrong, so it gets too hot and then gets too cold.
Okay. Not hot wine again, yuck. Yes, beggars belief. It beggars belief, but we like it. And it's all ours. You can't have any. It's mine. I'll drink it all. I won't. All right.
There you go.
What's the percentage volume?
I'm going to guess something like 12.
8.
8, okay.
Yeah, this stuff's really mild. Yeah, what was the other one? Have I still got the bottle for that?
It's the same. It's
Was it the
exactly the same
gingerbread
stuff.
one?
No, it's
Oh,
exactly the same.
did we have this?
Two of
that
those,
last time?
one of them.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, whack. Okay, yeah. Oh, 8%. Yeah, that's tame. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not tame, but like that's strong cider territory. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I expected 12 or 14 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then I guess it is supposed to be. This isn't. You're not supposed to get drunk on this stuff, although you absolutely can. So yeah. Right. Can't be too alcoholic if you can heat it up. Yeah, we're not boiling it. We're just making it warm. Weaker than the D. Grahammer. Yeah. Quite so.
Because we don't actually have a thermometer. I don't think.
Yeah, I should probably grab a spoon and just...
Do you have the... Well, I was just going to say, do you have the thermal camera?
Yeah, can do. Yeah.
Because that will just do spot measurement.
Did we decide we trusted that?
I mean, it seemed to be reasonably accurate.
Yeah, or at the very least it seemed to be in the ballpark, so yeah.
Yeah. And we just decided that, yeah, we wanted to keep it... I think it was below 75 or below 80.
Yeah. Where is my telephone? It's there. Oh. A pint at 8% is a lot to drink, in fairness. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It will certainly, it'll certainly de-Graham me.
I mean, that's a nice quality of life thing that you've gained with that phone. You plug in the thermal camera and it just works.
Yeah, this is the thing. Lots of people are just like, oh, you should get it working in software so you can feed it into OBS and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but man, I just plug it into my phone and just there's zero setup. That's at 60-ish, 60 degrees.
Cool.
But yes, I was going to get it set up on a. I've got a spare tripod now, so I wanted to set up a Paul
neat.
Daniels-esque tripod and see if I can rip off Paul Daniels' setup. Except just not with the software, but
Yeah.
yeah, because if I've got it on a tripod, I can just go onto the table. Those bubbles are extremely uniform. I wonder if there's something to that. All right. $75.
Such a good picture.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Just that is
yeah.
lovely. Very watchable.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to turn that down again now because it hits
Yeah.
75. Actually, I'll just turn it off. That's ready to drink, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. Top camera. I can't be asked to set it up. However, I did just take that picture, and I might link it in a sec, just as a fun thing. That can go to one side, I guess, because we don't need the lid. Okay. Let's see. Quentin says, do you know how much GDDR6.7 actually costs? Because I'm wondering if 32 gig or even 64 gig mid-range card would make sense for VR users. Well, okay, so like it's a slightly redundant question because obviously with graphics cards you get what you're given for RAM. However, if you're playing VR, yes, you do want to look for higher VRAM cards. But like 32 or 64 gig on a graphics card isn't going to happen. Like the 5090 is going to have 32 gigs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
But, like,
reason...
yeah, but you're not going to see more than 32 anytime soon. So yeah. I don't know what the cost is like though. That's the cost of GDDR6 and stuff like that is kind of shrouded in mystery because Nvidia sell a GPU and the memory for it as a kit to the board partners who then put that on their graphics card, and it's all part of the same cost. So yeah, like you can. obviously you can buy some individual chips of certain things, but it's kind of an abstracted cost. It's not a commodity item you can just buy and fit to something. So, yeah. So it's hard to say. What we do know for certain is that basically all graphics cards should have more than what they have. Oh my god, I just missed half of that, but...
It's okay, your bench is clean, right?
Well, I'm not going to lick it up.
Oh, how boring.
I will simply use some paper towel.
How wasteful.
Yes. How very unenvironmental of you. I should have gotten the funnel.
Yes.
Time you went home. Fair enough. See you soon, Si.
Don't pour it on the floor. That's my job.
Oh God, it was. So last week on stream there were a bunch of people going, "Oh, if you undo the top valve of the thing, it will drain faster." So on Sunday morning when we were redoing the water cooling, Caradog did that. He undid the top, and then when he undid the bottom, it just went everywhere, all just everywhere.
It wasn't that everywhere.
It was really, really funny. You were like, ah. It was just.
It was only one everywhere, not two everywheres. Don't oversell it.
It was very, very funny. Ow, this is really hot. It's going to be a while before it's drinkable. Can you freeze alcohol? If you go cold enough, yeah. But you've got to go super cold to freeze alcohol.
Yeah, it's why glycol, which is an alcohol, is added to cooling loops and so on, and you add it to your car to stop that freezing.
Yeah.
Because it has a lower freezing point than water. But it doesn't have as much thermal capacity, so it's not as good as cooling.
Yeah.
Also, completely unrelated, but did you actually lock the front door?
Yes.
Okay.
I did, yeah. All right, let's see. Mike says, have you seen or heard about the YouTube live stream chat bug that causes the or snap out of memory crash? I have not heard of such a thing. Is that a thing? Do you know the details of it? Is it because that could be a known bug, but also that sounds like one of those instances of someone going, "Oh, this happened to me," and someone goes, "Oh, it happened to me as well." It's just like, well, yeah, both of you just had run out of RAM on your computer because you have 8 gigs or something. So yeah, don't know. Seems to be that YouTube is caching all the live chat, so the longer the stream, the higher the likelihood of a crash. Yeah, that'd be terrible. Do you have it on video, the spill? No, sadly not. But yeah. Yeah. Also had the uBlock Origin. Yeah, I had this computer here popped up with that during the week. Popped up with the YouTube Origin. This add-on is no longer supported and has been disabled. So, yeah, that's...
I had that pop up for me on something, and then I just went into extensions, re-enabled it, and it continued blocking ads.
Ah. I'm going to quickly check that on here just out of interest now.
So I'm intrigued as to what it was. I don't know if that's just kind of very temporarily and actually lots of stuff still can't get blocked.
All right, so right here it says uBlock Origin was turned off. This extension is no longer supported.
Oh, that's a different one to what I got.
Chrome recommends you remove it.
Interesting. No, I got a full screen one.
Yeah. Okay, I will click on Manage Extensions.
Yeah.
It does not give detail. Oh, I can just switch it on again. This is Chrome recommends that you remove it instead. No, I will turn it on. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can just turn it on. Oh, that's an interesting turn of events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that one, that had given me the "this is no longer supported" thing, but yeah, I just turned it on again. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting if you can just willingly, if they're discouraging it, but you can just override it and say, no, I actually do want to use this.
Yeah.
I wonder whether you can add it to new installs of Chrome, though. Because if it's been removed from the Chrome extension store because it's not supported, then it's the same thing. Because if you can't, if you can't download it from the Chrome App Store anymore, if you've got to sideload it,
Oh, I
sucky,
see.
you know.
Yeah. But also, if you've got that on your profile,
Yeah.
if you sign into your profile again, and it syncs your extensions, does it sync the extension back in?
These are
Because
interesting questions.
if it does, then ultimately,
Yeah. These are interesting questions, yeah. And I'm interested in knowing this because this is the thing, like this is the nail in the coffin for my usage of Chrome. Because it's not about the YouTube ads for me. I have YouTube Premium, I don't care. It's about actually having a good ad blocker that actually works, you know, that blocks crap on my computer. So yeah, like if uBlock Origin stops working on Chrome, then I will fully move to Firefox. That will be the last push for me, and I was anticipating having to do that. But if it kind of does actually still work, then it means I don't have to migrate away from Chrome. Because
damn it, I shouldn't have told you.
yeah, well, I might still do it anyway. But the thing is, at the end of the day, Chrome still has really good profile management, which I like a lot, and I want to keep using.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did I copy? Oh, I need to.
Stefan says, I've been using Pi-hole for years to deal with pop-ups instead of AdBlock. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think Pi-hole is an interesting concept that I would be interested in doing at some point, but a lot of the time I like to set up and recommend things that anyone can do, which is not to say that not anyone can make a Pi-hole, but like, for example, if my sister is just like, you know, if my sister says, Graham, how do I get rid of ads on my laptop? I'm not going to say, well, you have to create a Pi-hole, sister, who is a complete normie, you know, just like...
You have to create a Pi-hole sister.
Yeah. You know, whereas right now I can be like, oh, download uBlock Origin, just Google search for it and it'll come up with the Chrome extension store, just click install, that's it. Whereas telling my family to make a Pi-hole, kind of a different kettle of fish, you know.
Stick this in your Pi-hole.
So yeah. Yeah. People saying Brave falls under the same category as Opera, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just like, I don't know. I get bad vibes from Brave and Opera, but I couldn't give you a specific reason why.
Oh, this might not install.
Opera is just kind of on principle, just because the CEO guy who owns Opera has a history of being a loan shark, like a literal loan shark in India and other developing countries.
Yeah.
So like that's the objective reason to not like
Yeah.
Opera. Brave, I don't know. I don't have a reason for not liking Brave.
Yeah.
I don't have, just for some reason or other, I don't know. I just don't like it. But I couldn't tell you why.
Do you happen to have a modern AMD graphics card?
Probably not. I've got a
Okay.
56.
Have you got a 5600 that...
I've got a 5600 that might work, but probably won't work. But you can try it if you want.
Cool, okay. Is that the one that's...
Yes, the one that's out
Yeah,
on the table.
okay.
It works in BIOS. It probably won't work once you try and get to
All I
Windows.
need it to do is get recognised by Windows, so the AMD driver will install.
Interesting. Yeah, you can try.
Because, yeah,
Yeah.
I just want that test bench to have the AMD and NVIDIA drivers installed,
Yes, that's fair.
because then we can just plug in either and it will just work.
Yeah. Chris F says, uBlock Origin Lite is the replacement on store. Seems to do everything that it did before. Yeah, can anyone confirm this? Because I was aware that uBlock Origin Lite is a thing, but I don't know whether it's actually effective per se. Oh, interesting. Installing it as a second card. Yeah, that might work.
Yeah,
Because it's not actually required to do anything.
yeah,
yeah.
it just needs to provide a hardware ID effectively.
Yeah. Can anyone? Yeah, I'm interested to know how. To be honest, I should probably just try running uBlock Origin Lite and just see if it remains effective. Or move to Firefox. Yeah. I should move to Firefox anyway. Both Caradog and I are very interested in some kind of add-on for Firefox that adds in a slicker profile switcher.
I'm interested in it because it will mean you switch. I don't require it myself.
Oh, interesting. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I'm aware that Firefox has a profile switcher tool. It's just kind of jank.
Having to type in about :profiles each time and then click on the little radio button.
I mean, I
It's kind of
yeah. I mean, like I can update my shortcut to have the switch attached to it, which is a non-issue. But it's just like when you open Chrome, you have big buttons with big profiles, so I can just go Chrome, bam, and I can do it really quick. I don't have to do a precision thing, whereas the Firefox Chrome switcher is like a legacy window with small boxes because it's designed for troubleshooting and importing and exporting profiles. And like you have to do a precision thing and just... I want something with big buttons where I can just speed through it and it's really quick, you know.
Oh, you've not added a shortcut to that profile. You've added a shortcut to the switcher.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you were saying you'd had different Firefox icons for each profile.
No, yeah, I suppose you could do that as well.
Yeah, that's
and
what
just-
I thought you said
yeah,
you'd done.
Yeah.
Because I was just like,
Having separate icons, that would also work because I'm more than happy to have. I'm more than happy, yeah, especially because also like there's only 3 profiles that I need that I switch between constantly. I actually have like 5 or 6 profiles. However, that extra 2 or 3 are ones that get used in a blue moon because they're like holding accounts and things like that. I don't need fast access to those. They just need to exist.
yeah.
And the reason why I want separate profiles is just so I don't have to constantly log in and out of accounts on them all the time. That's the point of profiles, is so I'm not constantly having to log in and out of accounts.
Oh, yeah, I should shuffle stuff into another profile.
Yeah. So yes. Carthor says, I can't do uBlock Lite because of the element picker. Yeah, I don't use that very often, but I have used it in the past. It is a nice thing to have. Sorry, I didn't serve you any. Kind of a dick move there. But yes.
Shake, shake, shake.
If you don't want to use Opera for what the owner has done, wait until you find out what Google has done. I guess the other... Yeah. I mean, I guess also... Yeah. I don't know. Google is one of those evils which I'm willing to accept because I have a better idea of what they're doing with the data. Google are not selling your data, they're analyzing it, per se. Whereas everyone else is just selling your data to the highest bidder. Google are the highest bidder and they're just analyzing the data. Google is watching you. They're not stabbing you in the back, kind of thing. I guess that's the difference for me. Which is not to say I don't think, obviously Google have got plenty of skeletons in the closet, but I don't know. It's kind of like with the privacy thing. Would you rather be watched by the US government or the Chinese government? You're being watched by someone, but yeah, I don't know. Between the two, I kind of prefer that the US government watches me. You know, I don't know. If that makes sense. Like I'm
4 friggin' attempts later to type United.
all right. Yeah, I'm not gonna. This isn't a hill that I'm gonna die on. You know, it's just I'm kind of just rambling here, if I'm honest. So,
Whilst I somewhat set up the test bench.
yeah.
Yes.
What's the best search engine for not tracking? Probably DuckDuckGo. I think.
Or Quant.
Yeah, like DuckDuckGo is a privacy-conscious search engine that seems to have a decent amount of functionality in it.
Or Quant.
Yeah, Quant I have not used. How do you even spell that?
QWANT.
QWANT. I see.
From memory, and this might have changed since I last looked, the only search engines that run their own databases are Google, Bing, and Quant.
Oh, Quant have their own database. But does that just mean that their results are crap?
I don't know because I don't know what you're searching for, if that makes sense.
True.
But for the stuff that I have searched for, which is, insert product name here, first result has been either the manufacturer's website or like a review of it because it's in the review cycle. So it's been at least topically relevant
Yeah.
stuff.
I'll try them out and I'll see how it goes. Just
Yeah.
as curious. Like, I'm satisfied with DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
Every now and then it misses something where, like, I'll search for something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Google would have found that. However, largely I've been enjoying it because the results are so much cleaner. You get you actually get a full page of results instead of AI adverts to results kind of thing.
See, I keep saying this, but I have none of that with Google search.
Oh, I do. Yeah, like, obviously it just hasn't hit your account yet, but it does for me. No, actually, you theorize it's because you do everything in incognito.
Yeah, I theorize because I do everything.
That's fair. Either way, my Google search sucks. And also DuckDuckGo, they're mature enough that it does do basic things for you. Like, for example, if you search for how much is 180 USD in Great British pounds, it will just give you a direct result saying it's this much, source xe.com kind of thing, which are one of the nice things. Yeah, it's got some of that basic, like, utility to it that we like about Google, because that's one of the things that is nice about Google is that it will just answer simple questions directly for you, but it has some of that built into it without being ridiculous, you know. So yeah. So I'll have to try Quant just out of interest. Okay, right, I'm going to come back and scan through the chat. So yes, as I say, DuckDuckGo, I'm a fan of them. Every now and then I've had a slight miss, but broadly speaking, I updated my default search engine and my homepage on, I think, all of my profiles now, and I've had virtually no instances where DuckDuckGo has just straight up failed me. Yeah, I think, so let's see. Quant is pretty slow indexing new videos of some of my more favourite entertainment sites. New vids drop with new girls and it takes ages to find them in Google. I see.
New, not nude.
New girls, yeah. I mean, that's still a sentence that I feel like I'm missing context for, but at face value, it's maybe a little slow to update. Maybe, yeah, but I'm generally not searching for breaking news on things or breaking information. Like, if I'm looking for new videos, I'll go to where I know the videos are going to be. You know. Yeah. So yeah, that would be fine with me.
That's not how I do that.
So yeah. I find DuckDuckGo searches pretty much identical, but I feel safer. Yeah, maybe. Certainly, I think they tend to just the AI stuff was the last straw for me with Google, just because I'm not a fan of generative AI as we currently know it for a multitude of reasons that I won't go into.
Again,
I'm just not a fan of it. So A, it annoys me at face value, but B, it also annoys me because it's just wrong half the time. And if it's wrong half the time, that means you have to check its work. And if you have to check its work, then it's useless. You know, like I've been doing, I've been playing in Blender for the past week, building a little house in Blender. And so I've been doing a lot of searches like, what's the average height of a door? You know, how high off the ground is the average bed? So, you know, just so I know how big to make things, you know. And
what is the size of this specific style of bed?
And I did a search while we were in the car on the weekend. I was doing stuff on my laptop, and I searched for, you know, how big is a queen size mat or how big is a king size mattress? And Google AI gave her an answer, and I looked at that answer. I was like, that doesn't look right to me. And then
it was something like 1.4 meters by 1.1 meters.
Yeah.
So it was a mattress that would come up to here on most people and be out to like here.
Yeah.
And you're like,
and so then I clicked on the first actual result, which was a mattress website. You know, so they were selling mattresses, and they're like, these are the standard dimensions of a mattress, which were, and the Google AI result was just completely wrong. So it's just, and so that's why it broke, and now 50% of the Google front page is taken up by a answer engine that is just wrong most of the time. Which is one of the reasons why I don't like generative AI. This is inescapable. This is unfixable. You cannot fix the hallucination problem with our current technology. We would need a new paradigm. It is not going to be fixed. Bad data in, bad data out.
I don't know if it's
Well, however you define
Start
it.
that again. I don't know if it's
hallucination or just bad
hallucination
data
problem.
in.
I think
Yeah.
it's also just the fact of obviously the data in has just been scraping the internet.
Yeah.
And obviously none of that's been verified, none of that's
That's
been
it.
checked.
And it is answering authoritatively.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, here's some excellent and good news for you.
Okay, yeah.
Office 365
I'm going
for
to talk about the
personal
B570
users,
in a moment. Yeah.
for personal users.
Yeah.
That used to be $79.99 a month.
Hmm.
Month? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try that again. Per year.
yeah.
£80 per year.
Yeah.
The price has gone up £25 a year to
Okay.
include Copilot.
So is the £70 a year price no longer available?
Correct.
Serious question. Is anyone actually using Copilot? You, the viewer, have you used Copilot? And I'm going to refine that now. Has Copilot helped you in a meaningful way? Like, really? Is it doing something that you otherwise were unable to do previously? Has it made you 50% more productive? Like, if it's
No,
like if
because
it's-
we're talking about percentage increase on 0.
I see. Yeah.
If my starting productivity
Yeah.
was 0,
Yeah, you
and
understand
my end result is productivity, there is infinite percent
Yeah.
increase because it started at 0.
Yeah. However, but you understand what I'm inferring from this.
Yes,
Is it
and I
actually
would say
you know-
yes,
Okay.
because it's specific for certain people, but because it's new and novel, suddenly it's something you can do.
Interesting. So the idea is because it's new and novel, people are going, "Oh, I'm going to use this," and they're being more productive because there's a new toy, so to speak.
That's how it's useful for me,
Interesting.
because
yeah.
I do it and it's a new toy.
Yeah.
And I'm
So-
like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then the output of that I then incorporate into something else that I was doing
Yeah.
anyway.
So
but
to-
it means that I actually complete the task.
Yeah, so to give an example on my side, maybe I would actually use let's pretend that I gave Google Gemini a fair shake. Suddenly I would actually start answering my emails because I'd be like, aha, I've got this new toy that answers my emails for me. And as a side effect of that, my emails are actually getting answered, kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah,
That's basically it for me.
yeah,
Is the tool itself isn't necessarily actually enhancing anything. It is the fact that it's helping with something else.
fair. All right. Right, I'm going to sidetrack off of this because I can't be asked to bang on about AI for another stream. So, yeah. Right.
Yes.
Moving along, someone said, "What's the wine?" The wine is called Glühwein. Glühwein. Don't know if you pronounce it. Gluhwein. It's a German spiced wine. It's nice. This stuff pops up. I don't know if it's only seasonal or if it's there all year. But,
Seems to be it seems to be only seasonal.
yeah. And is it Lidl or Aldi? I can never remember.
Both.
Both. Okay. Yeah.
But that one is specifically the little one, and you
Yeah.
get a different label.
In Aldi. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And yeah, it's nice stuff. It's a nice drink. So yes. Let's see. Yeah. Whatever. I can't. Yeah, I'm just so tired of hearing about AI. That's why it annoys me. And it's one of those things that's just being forced into every facet of our lives. And I'm just like, arc off. You know, just I don't care. Whatever. All right. Okay, right. I saw folks were asking about the B570 and such like. I skimmed. I had a look through the Gamers Nexus review of the B570, and I thought it was very interesting because they took the time to test it on a couple of different CPUs, high end and low end, because obviously the big talk around the big talk around Battlemage is that Battlemage sucks on low-end CPUs, which is where you would actually want to buy it. Which has certainly given me cold feet, because when you said, "Oh, Overclockers have got Battlemage cards, do you want one?" And I said,
"Oh, specifically the limited edition one," just because you said that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, no, and I'd gotten cold feet based on what I've heard. I then watched the Gamers Nexus review, and they saw some signs which proved that there is a thing that exists. But based on their testing, they determined that the fault doesn't seem to be anywhere near as catastrophic as some people are making out. While it exists in certain circumstances, but it seems that apart from some edge cases, it's not something that you largely need to worry about. You should probably check if you fall under the edge case or not, but it's not. It doesn't seem to be the deal breaker that a lot of people feel that it is.
It was a case that in a couple of games it was between 28 and 50% performance regression.
Yeah.
And that's 3 to 5 tiers of graphics card.
Yeah.
Because that's going from a 3060 to a 3090.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Apparently a lot of those, but also apparently a lot of those games were like esports games where your FPS is in the hundreds anyway.
Yeah, Spider-Man 1, 2, Miles Morales are affected.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Cyberpunk is a little bit. Gears 5, I think it was, which is obviously not hitting any high play records, but
what is your source? Is your source
this is Hardware Unboxed?
Yeah, I need to watch. I want to watch their content on that as well, because I'm interested.
I
in this
think
and
it was
see
those ones that were majorly affected.
And do you know
also
what kind
Flight
of
Sim? I think it was.
Do you know what kind of CPU they were testing on?
5600 versus 9800.
Okay,
XMD.
yeah, because Gamers Nexus were testing on the 5600X as well.
Yeah.
And also the 12400F.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was going to say, if someone was testing on, say, like a 3600 or something like that, that might show scaling there. But yeah. So at any rate, Gamers Nexus were largely not seeing the same widespread issue, but also they said they said, we saw hints of it being a thing. So clearly it is an issue in certain instances, but it didn't pop up. It popped up on few or none of our specific tests.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're not saying it's not real. We just didn't see it on the tests that we run, kind of thing. You know? Which I thought was very interesting. After watching that, I then bounced back to be like, oh, maybe I will buy one after all. But at that point, Overclockers had then immediately gone out of stock. So I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Interesting looking card. I do think it looks cool. I'm not 100, buy it if you want kind of thing, I guess. It depends on what prices you can see it at. I need to have a look at what the partner cards were at, because the limited edition went out of stock, but I didn't look at any of the other ones to see if they're still coming in at a lower price than the 4060. Also, we're kind of waiting to see what AMD show up with for their new mid-range, for their entry-level and mid-ranges. I say entry-level. I mean, there's that weird conversation of where the product stack begins. It's like calling a 4060, is a 4060 an entry-level card, or do we say mid-range because like onboard graphics is entry-level, you know what I mean. So yeah.
I mean, depends. Does it come with 8 gigs of VRAM? It's entry level then.
Yeah. Battlemage doesn't suck on low-end CPUs. There are some games which suck on Battlemage on low-end CPUs, but most games are fine.
But the NVIDIA and AMD cards don't have those issues. Therefore, it's a Battlemage problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, but if I buy a different card, I don't have the problem at all. Therefore, it's a Battlemage problem. Maybe you can call something, the game isn't optimized for this card, but the end result is the same. If I buy the other card, I don't have the problem. So you might be right, but the end result is the same, so it doesn't actually matter. So yeah. The Gamers Nexus LTT drama, I want to weigh in on that just because I have opinions, and something I have a YouTube channel and an audience, therefore my opinion is more valid. I'm just going to say, I think Steve is totally in the wrong, and I think Linus is totally in the right on this one. When I watched the Gamers Nexus Honey video, when they actually took that pot shot at LTT during their video, because I watched it like the day after it came out, when that bit came up, I was like, wow, that was really uncalled for. This is not relevant to the video in the slightest. You're just digging up drama with this. What the hell are you thinking? You know. And I actually started typing in a comment to say, just saying, I thought that pot shot at LTT was unwarranted. This doesn't add to the video. You know, Linus is trying to keep his head down here. He's in a no-win situation. It was completely unnecessary to drag him out like that. However, I then just deleted the comment because I largely just don't bother leaving comments about something unless it's. I usually don't bother leaving a comment unless I have something very positive to say about the video that I want to share with the creator. In this instance, because I was criticizing, I was just like, I don't care, and people are already voicing this in the comments anyway. So yeah, in this instance, now don't get me wrong, you know, Linus is not perfect, Steve is not perfect, blah blah blah. However, in this specific instance, Steve was stirring the pot. There was no need for him to call out Linus like that. No need whatsoever. He's just completely unnecessary call out, and I hope he takes a bloody nose on social media for this, because he deserves it, quite frankly. Yeah, that's my opinion. Linus made a response in Friday's WAN show. It's 20 minutes long. I strongly suggest watching it. It's a very well thought out response. I think it's worth the watch. And also, he is really not happy about it. And he's basically said, you know, look, Steve, you've said a lot about us, and I have said nothing. I have taken the punches on this. I have taken this beating, and I have not said a goddamn word. However, if you keep this up, I'm going to get tired of being your punching bag.
Yeah.
You know, there was a very veiled threat in his response saying, I will not be your punching bag forever, so you need to stop calling me out like this. And I think that was 100% fair. That's my opinion. So yeah, because at the end of the day, yeah, like, I like Gamers Nexus. I like what they're trying to do. I like what Steve is trying to do. But, you know, if you ask around a lot of people, Steve is really sanctimonious, and it rubs people the wrong way. And this is another example of him being just incredibly sanctimonious while being less than perfect himself. So, yeah, I like Linus. I like Steve. Both of them are flawed people. However, and I want to see the best in everyone. I want to make the charitable read. I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. However, in this instance, Steve was just wrong. He's just wrong. It's that simple as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. It's not like LTT can sue GN if the criticism is valid. Well, this was kind of Linus's point. There is criticism which he took last year when there was the big LTT takedown. You know, LTT took that on the chin. However, it only goes so far before it becomes libel, and it's getting awfully close to that. So yeah. LTT flogged the Honeycon for more than 5 years. Yeah, but they were also the first to stop. They haven't been flogging it any time recently. And again, they've literally... no, I'm not going to sit and defend. Watch Linus's responses for yourself is all I'd say. You know, that's my opinion. So yeah. It would be nice if people were nicer to each other. This is the thing. Linus has literally just been saying, I want to move on. I don't want drama. I want to move on. Everyone else is dragging him into this. So yeah. All right. LTT started the beef. Yeah, but that was last year, and they took that on the chin, and more than that on the chin. It was more than a bloody nose. They got smacked down for it, and they took that. They took their beating, and a year later, they're still being dragged out. what more do you want from them? What more do you want? So yeah. All right, next topic. Talk about the Intel video card question. We already have. So yeah. All right, Linus is just a business. Yeah, see, this is the thing. So is everyone. I'm a business. It might shock you guys to know, but I'm here to make money. I'm here to make a living. I'm here to make videos to earn money. I am in business to make money. What's new about that? GN is in business to make money. That's their objective. They're making videos to make money. That's how this shit works. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Okay. Right. Anyway, moving on. Because, yeah, imagine making money. Okay, let's get on to content. What are you up to over there? Are you tuning memory now or what?
No. I have simply enabled XMP and I'm seeing if the ATune software does anything.
Okay, are you just doing a shakedown over there? Okay, right. Well, shall we talk about the video plan then?
Hey.
Yeah.
It seems to function.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm going to bring up the script for our video then, and we'll see if we can start bashing some of that out. So yes. Yeah, we've already covered the Switch 2 Chunky Chunk. And the TLDR is cool that it exists. Otherwise, I don't care because we don't actually know anything about it. It's all speculation. All speculation. All right. Okay, so let's see. Yes, I have Google Docs here. I can open it up. Verify that it's you. Thanks.
Haha! It's not me.
You fool! You absolute rube! I've deceived you. Let's see.
I've deceived you by way of the oldest trick in the book. I put on a moustache.
Right, RAM timings don't matter.
Come here. Get out of there.
Okay. Right. Let's see what I've got so far for this. Right, so I hope you guys are going to find this interesting, but this is what we're going to talk about. You're here forever. Come hither, yes. Let's see. I'm going to switch over to desktop with face. Yes, this works. All right. So this is the video we're making. RAM timings don't matter. The title is a reference to a Dan Olsen Folding Ideas video, which I'm doing deliberately because it's a good video. Which incidentally was about the Folding Ideas did a video called The Snyder Cut Does Not Exist, which was back during the whole Snyder Cut of the DC movie Justice League. Yeah. And basically he did a very interesting video that talked about why the Snyder Cut does not exist. And it was a really cool video because it explained that it's just like, yes, there is a Snyder Cut. However, it's a 4-hour-long work print. So, no, there is no Snyder Cut yet because it's half made. So, no, it does not exist. But also, there is a 4-hour work print that is half made that you could theoretically finish. So, it was a matter of you can't just release it because it's not done. So, it doesn't exist, but also it kind of blah, blah, blah. That's the pun on the title, basically. I'm referencing that video that no one will understand. Anyway, so RAM timings don't matter. It's the same pun because they don't matter, but also they do matter. So here's the plan. Here's the pitch. So the idea is that we get a couple of different CPUs. So what we've got available, we've got a 7800X3D, we've got a 7500F. So we've got two AMD CPUs, and then we've also got the, what's this again? This is an Intel
265K.
Yeah, that's the i5?
Yes.
Yeah, so an i5 265K.
i7.
i7 265K.
Yes.
Because
the i5 is 245K.
Yeah. Imagine the CPU with 5 in the model number not being the i5. Just.
I mean, the 285K is the i9.
Of course. Imagine it not just being like a 290 or something like that.
Oh yeah, well, as I said, for my conspiracy theory, they're going to release a 290, a 270, and a 250 when they fixed all the problems.
Moving on. Here forever, like last week. You shut your mouth, Greg M. Right. So, why didn't you add a single channel, dual channel comparison? I mean, in a shock to no, should we? Is that
Because
it's
it's
another
different
it's another
it's
set
a
test
different
we've got to do.
conversation
Yeah,
because it's talking about something different.
yeah. Also, like, I don't think it's a shock to anyone that dual channel matters, but also, like, everyone is running dual channel, so I don't think there's anything to learn from that. Because the thing is just the argument here is whether you should spend extra to get the fancy RAM or if you should just buy 5600 stuff because it's cheap. Because that, like, when someone makes a video saying that memory speed doesn't matter, that's fundamentally what they're saying. You should buy the cheap RAM that's 5600 megatransfers.
Yes.
I appreciate your Fox pictures for Firefox.
That one.
So, whereas dual channel, I don't think anyone is actually suggesting that you would ever run single channel. No one is going to buy a single stick of memory and believe that that is correct, per se. So, while there is a conversation to be had there, I think that's out the scope of the video. So, yeah. All right, so, yeah. So we've got 3 different CPUs that are on hand to us. We've selected them because it's what we have available. And my understanding, JD, are you around? Yes, you are. If my understanding is correct, we're expecting that the 70 which way round is this? The 7800 X3D will care about RAM?
No.
No. Oh, okay. And okay, so the 7500F will care about RAM speed, but the 7800 X3D is probably less sensitive to it.
Are we talking about RAM speed or timings? Because that's a different conversation.
Okay, that's something that we need to add into the scripts then, because I don't know and I was not aware that that mattered.
Well, because running it 5600 with timings of 14, 14, 14, 14 is a different conversation to running it 6000, 14, 14, 14, 14, because obviously the timings are cycle dependent, not time dependent. So the time period you're waiting for is different as well.
Okay.
So it depends on what you're on about.
Well, what should we be on about? That's what we're here to solve then, basically. You know, what is our philosophical statement in this video? If we're trying to prove that memory speed, timings and or mega transfers does have relevance, what should our philosophical statement be then? So yeah, X3D will care less for the timings.
Yeah.
Says JD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So
I'd imagine it will care less overall, just because obviously it's got significant caching.
yeah. Yeah, so the idea is the 7800 X3D will care less because it's having to poll the RAM less often.
Yeah.
Because it's got the massive cache.
Yeah, basically.
However, will they both care about mega transfers? Obviously, there is a band here. There is a up to a point kind of thing. But your title says timings. Should it be speed or timings? That's the thing. What are we asking here then? Because this is exactly what I want to hash out. So. Right, JD says, generally we believe we're looking at 6000 because 6000, 6200 is the sweet spot for AM5. Yeah. Okay, so are we going to make the blanket statement that, okay, let me rephrase the question then. Do mega transfers matter? Is it okay to buy 5600 because it was cheaper? I know they go hand in hand, so that's a loaded question or a incomplete question, but this is the thing. We kind of got to narrow this down. I think it is timings that we're talking about broadly. We want to say that the timings do or do not matter. And I guess we can make the statement that, you know, for AM5, you buy 6000 because 6000, 6200 because that's the sweet spot, which we will go into explaining. Fast RAM with poor timings would probably prefer then yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, because IMC clock and not just RAM clock. Horizon
Yeah.
and MEM bottlenecked enough as it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So firstly, our opening statement is that mega transfers does matter, just straight up, because on AMD, higher MEM clock is going to also increase. Because memory clock is tied to IMC and the Infinity Fabric and stuff like that.
Yes.
So therefore, running higher mega transfers just straight up does matter with AMD. Does it straight up matter with Intel?
I think because it's so much more asynchronous, that it is far less affected. However, you will see a difference in performance between 5600 and 8200 RAM on Intel still.
However, again, that's going to be software dependent though, right?
Yeah, generally.
Yeah. Okay. So Intel, both matter, software dependent. Okay, so what we're going to propose is that memory speed, so I'll refer to mega transfers as speed. So memory speed and timings, so software-wise, it depends on what you're running, whether it's memory sensitive or not. That goes without saying, we know this. And hardware-wise, on Intel, yeah, you're going to get scaling as you increase both. And on AMD, the speed matters up to about 6000, 6200, but the timings matter less on an X3D chip because of the big cache. That's why you might see weird results. Okay. Timings depend on X3D. Cool. So then what we want to do is we want to then demonstrate these cases. So in our intro, we're going to talk about memory timings are a dark science, basically. We're going to talk about the issue with memory timings and how there are people, it's a very deep rabbit hole, and we don't really expect everyone to know everything about it. There's lots of conflicting information, and it depends on the platform and stuff like that. AMD and Expo should make it easy, but in reality they don't, because you can buy memory kits that just have garbage XMP/Expo profiles in them.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a case of XMP and Expo is supposed to solve this problem, but in reality it may or may not. So just saying, well, I'm running XMP or Expo, that doesn't automatically mean you've got great timings now. In reality, there are a lot of kits where the XMP or Expo profiles, they're designed to get you to hit the advertised speed, and some of them will just absolutely dump timings in order to make sure that you're stable at that speed. Therein lies the issue.
Yes.
You'll get kits that just have hilariously terrible timings on them to guarantee that it will get to 6000 or 7000 or whatever. So what software in reality will benefit from the speed timing? I'll get to that in just a moment. So yeah, stay with me for a bit longer. It matters with the new Core Ultra chips. Going back to previous generations, not so much. Interesting. Intel both matter, software dependent. Matters more on new. Can you confirm that, JD? Let's see. The auto timings don't actually change too much. The ratio on timings is very similar to what you get at high MTs. Yeah. All right. Okay, so scope of the video. So yeah, timings do matter sometimes. We're going to show when they matter and when they don't. However, this is not a tuning guide. We're not going to show people how to tune their memory because we'll be here all month. However, we do want to try, but we will link some resources. We are going to try and link into some videos so when people go, okay, well, I want to start learning tuning, where do I start? And we'll say, okay, here's some actually here's some Buildzoid videos. Enjoy sitting through 3 hours of waffling with a lot of information in there somewhere. Because that's what you got to do. Buildzoid knows his stuff. But yeah. Mist, who said it matters on new? TFT said it matters new on the new Core Ultra chips. But yeah, the problem is no one cares about the new Core Ultra chips, so no one's done a lot of testing. Okay, so that's to be... we'll scrap that for now because we can't really test that. We're just going to say software dependent. Less testing because XOC guys don't care. That's just where we're up to as of the making of this video. All right, so next section, AMD Expo. What is XMP Expo? So at that point, we're going to say, okay, well, these are built-in profiles in the RAM that take you from the base speed, what's the base speed for DDR5 again? 40...
Probably 4200.
Yeah, 4200, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so typically when you insert your RAM, it's going to sit at like 4200. Then when you load your XMP or Expo, Intel AMD dependent profile, that will then set the RAM up for its advertised speed with a set of timings that should be a little bit tighter but are mainly optimized to make that speed work. While profiles can be bad. So the profiles can be bad because they're designed to guarantee the headline speed. They don't necessarily make it go faster. They're designed to get you to the advertised speed. So they might the AMD Expo profile, the XMP Expo profiles are not necessarily good. Is the thing there?
Yeah. Also,
that's an open-ended, broad statement.
Yeah. What has happened is that memory controller design versus memory stick design and layout has been significantly optimized. So the primary timings that XMP sets don't matter now because the memory controller is specifically set up to avoid bumping into those timings as much as possible. And things like that. So it's kind of a case of to a degree, some of the engineering has basically made it so the primary and some of the secondary timings are way less relevant now because they're intentionally avoiding those situations.
Yeah. Primary, so basically what we're saying there is that the primary advertised... so also, like, for example, when I buy a RAM kit, I'm going to look for, say, 6,000 mega transfers and then CL36, I think, is the...
30.
30, yeah.
30.
Oh,
32.
yeah, 30, yeah. So then I'm going to look for, say, a 6,000 CL30 or CL32 kit. I know to look for that first number, but that's in the primary timings, which might not even matter. So the advertised settings that I'm looking for are not even necessarily what even matter. Yeah. And they're not going to tell you what the secondaries are on the product page. You've got to look that nonsense up. So that's why.
Kinda, yeah.
So that's why XMP and Expo profiles are not helpful. Well, they're not a solution to this problem per se.
Yeah.
Because it's not the complete picture. So yeah. Cool. Okay.
Oh, wild.
So the duality that Expo isn't peak performance, but it's not realistic for people to magnitude. So yeah, this is the bit where I want to say this is the issue: is that like obviously a lot of the takeaway is going to be, are you telling me that I have to tune my RAM? And I'm like, well, the thing is, tuning your RAM is actually a rabbit hole and really difficult to do. I don't even know how to tune RAM. So so for the average person, it's not reasonable to assume that everyone is going to go and manually tune their RAM. So, however, so while we're identifying problems with XMP and Expo, but this is not. But for the average person, that's kind of all you got, because it's either that or you learn how to do RAM tuning, which is a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So for the average person, there's nothing you can really do about this. We're just simply saying that this exists. We're not. So part of our philosophical statement here is that you're already doing it right by turning on XMP and Expo. However, that's not the limit, and it is incorrect to say that RAM timings don't matter, because they do matter if you actually tune them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So so that's part of the philosophical statement there. And then obviously, guideline, we're going to say, okay, well, what's the takeaway for the average Joe? For the person who's just like, okay, I don't want to watch a half an hour long video about this, what should I do? You buy 6000 CL30 RAM for your AMD, and you'll be fine, basically.
Yeah.
That is the broad TLDR. You buy 6000 CL30.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you care to go a bit further, that's the next thing. And there's like, kind of a case of the really simple thing of how do I tune my RAM is you go into your BIOS, you find your RAM timings, and you take one off of each timing. You run a memory test. You go back into your BIOS, you take a one off, you run a stress test.
Yeah.
And you just cycle that. It requires no intelligence and no skill. You just cycle that. It just requires time.
Yeah.
What requires skill is going, I can chuck 15 off of that timing. I can take 100 out of that timing. I can add 60,000 to this timing.
Yeah.
And that's what the skill is knowing what
Yeah.
you can jump straight to before you fine tune.
Yeah, the skill is knowing how to skip the steps, kind of thing. Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that summarizes that. So the next section, what kits are we going to test then? Well, I've got a typical Corsair kit that I would use in a build. So basically, the RAM that I've got in my PC at home, which is a set of Corsair RGB 6000 CL30 RAM. So it has JDEC speed, this is what it defaults to, and the Expo speeds, this is what it will run to. So we're going to test it at base speed, we're going to test it at its Expo settings, and then if Caradog, if you're willing, I'm going to assume that you're going to put in infinite time for the sake of the conversation. And then we're going to run it tuned. So you can sit down and see if you can tune my memory kit, see what you can get out of it. And then we can see if it goes faster with some slight tuning. Doesn't necessarily have to be the end of the line, but take it a bit and see if it's got a bit more to give, basically. And be like, yeah, there you go. If you sat down for a week with this, it would go faster. It's just how much time you're willing to put into it.
Yeah.
Then we've got a hand-picked kit. So basically, what memory kit you want to pick out from what we've got available as this is what we define as high quality RAM. So like we've got the T-Create kit that you've got in there at the moment, and then we've got, what was the Patriot Vipers over there? Yeah. So which is your magic kit at the moment? The T-Create, which is
I've got the T-Create kit.
Team Group, yeah.
Yeah, I've got this T-Create kit here because it is a 6400 Expo bin, basically, and that's reasonably safe.
Hang on a sec. Sorry, I tuned out there because I tried to read at the same time. Say that again.
I've got this kit.
Yeah.
Because it's a reasonably safe Expo.
Okay.
Because it's 6400. So it is reasonably safe to set and forget.
Yeah.
JD, what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. JD says we're not really going to be tuning to the 9s. We have a basic profile ready to go.
Yeah.
On what kit? On the Patriot?
Yeah. And then the second reason I got this kit is because it's a 48 gig kit and I want a 48 gig kit in my computer.
Yeah, that's the basically. That's you collecting parts for your AM5 build.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the Patriot
the reason
kit,
I got that Patriot kit is because it was an 82 or 8400 kit.
Yeah.
So it was a case of it will do those speeds. The memory will do that speed, guaranteed. End conversation.
It has the potential to go fast.
So, and it was a case of, obviously, because this is a go fast board,
Yeah.
I was going to stick it in there and go, and have
Okay.
go fast.
So JD says we'll have a profile ready to go. So
Yeah.
has JD looked up fast timings for that memory or something?
Sort of.
Yeah.
It depends on the memory chips. It's all about the memory chips.
Yeah.
And the different timings that you need, and the total transfer speed that they can actually ultimately go to, is entirely based on the chips you have. But it's like, here's a profile for MDI.
Understandable. Yeah. So do we know if
So it's
that's
just got
MDI?
M's thing. No.
Okay.
No. Sorry, that's just that was a random.
That was an example.
That's a random
Okay, yeah.
free one for
Yeah.
16 gigabit MDI.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a profile like that. Yeah, BuildZoid has done all the work
Yeah.
already.
Okay. But yeah. But do we have something for that memory kit, or do we need another memory kit? That's where I'm going with this.
Oh, no, we
what
don't need
memory
a
are we
different-
using for this video?
It doesn't matter. We can use any of them. We just need to know what ICs they are.
Interesting. Okay.
All we have to do is just
Yeah.
find out what ICs they are, and then
Yeah.
we can get a
Okay,
profile for
so
them.
hypothetically, we need to find out what ICs are on these two memory kits
Yeah.
and pick the better one, because both of these
Yeah.
are faster than my Corsair kit.
Yeah.
So theoretically,
Yes. It's a case that we know what we know what this is very likely to be, because it's 24, because they're 24 gig sticks.
yeah,
And as far as I can recall, there is only one 24 gig IC, and that's MDI 24, M24.
okay, yeah,
So it's kind of a case of that one's reasonably easy. It's just finding out what that is, and we'd probably have to pop the heat spreader off.
should we do that now?
But yeah.
Yeah, let's do that now. Let's find out. Yep, that's what I'm here to do. I'm just like, yeah, let's plan this video.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is interesting for people to listen in on. You know, like I hope this is
Kind of the thought process.
Yeah, I hope this isn't too dry, but I'm just like, yeah, this is how you plan a video like that. Because I don't know what I'm doing here, so I'm asking questions, you know?
Yeah, there's lots of moving parts in it.
Yeah. And if we want this video to actually happen, then we need to have a plan. So,
There are screws.
screws.
Yeah.
I see.
I will use the teeny tiny screwdriver.
Oh yeah, yeah. Failing that, I've
That
got
might
a.
be small enough.
Do you want a double O?
I will see if that's small enough.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
That is small enough.
All right. Cool. So we're. Okay. While you take that apart, then. So again, so we picked this one because it's fast profiles. So you know, known to be faster than average, basically. So we've got these kit, and then let's see, known to be faster than average. So basically, we know that these kits are better than a basic bitch kit. Basically, that's why we have them. Otherwise, they're not anything in specific.
Oh.
So the timings we've dialed in.
Wild.
BuildZoid did the work. We'll explain that we have BuildZoid has done this already, and we're running on his data. Also,
We
the Corsair
stand
sticks
on
that you
the
have at
shoulder
home,
of
could you maybe
giants.
just snap a photo of the stickers on them when you're home, Graham? Yes, JD, I will do that.
If you want to have a ganders, they are the ones that I. Oh no, it won't tell you what version
No,
they are.
I
Never
was going
mind.
to say I can look up a link to them, but that won't give us the sticker numbers. So yeah, bench cam. Yeah, just so we can actually show the modules in a sec. Let me just quickly grab it.
I require an actual prying tool.
Yes.
Because a screwdriver is
Yep.
not enough.
There's some alcohol if you want to weaken the thermal pads as well.
It's more just I didn't want to dig a screwdriver into a PCB.
Understandable.
I was like, oh yes, I'll use the actual prying tool, the tool for prying.
The prior's tool.
Yes, not the tool with pryers.
All right. That's enough of that. Yeah.
We have gone too far. Now it's just silly.
That'll do. This is going to be a very dirty bench cam, folks. Implying that our production values are particularly high. We just have a nice camera, that's it. Oh, how did that graphics card go, by the way? Did that do anything?
It installed the driver.
Cool. Okay, fair.
It did the function it needed to do. Oh my god, this is actually shockingly attached.
Let's see. Let's go studio mode. And let's go to... I don't know why I'm bothering going to studio mode. I'm showing everyone what's going on anyway. Bench cam with face. Select the right camera.
Get off. Get off.
Insta360 link controller.
So,
Yes.
you know you said you want to learn about rebooling.
Have you just...
No.
Oh, Jesus. God. Ooh. Good grief. You had me there. You had me. You genuinely had me then. Right. Bench cam with face. Oh, God. I'm begging you, squirt some alcohol in there to weaken the thermal pads.
There
It'll
you go.
dry out and you can reuse them. It doesn't dissolve the glue, it just disables it temporarily.
I'm already temporarily disabled.
Okay. Right, I will... Are you comfortable in that position? I can pull the camera back toward you a bit. Yeah, let's do that. And take a half step to the left if you could. Okay, a quarter step to the right. That's fine. You're now on shot.
And do a pelvic thrust.
Yeah. So everyone else can revel in the agony that is prying off this.
Her. There you go.
Will you replace the tin with peanut butter? We will not.
Her.
Not a plastic spatula. Plastic breaks.
I have. Come back here.
That's it. It lives there now.
Damn it.
Everyone always attacks me for using metal
I have
prying
pried
tools.
too
And I'm
far.
like, I
There
use
you go.
metal prying tools because the plastic ones just break. They don't work.
Huh.
We're getting there. Those are some well-attached
This is-
heat spreaders. I'll give you that. Oh my days! I've just seen the whole strip down the bottom there.
Ouch. Huh!
That's fine. We don't care about that bit.
There you go.
All right. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't say anything on them.
It does. They have model numbers on them. I was about to crucify you. All right. However, I don't think... Oh, yeah, no, we can zoom in on that. Hold on. Yeah, oh, actually, yeah, hang on a sec. If I do that in a little bit of zoom. There we go. Hold on. Okay, I got it. So that is G0W... Let me just type that into chat a sec.
5A and A?
G0WSA8A321. That is the number on the chip. Or GDW. Yeah, that might be a GDW. Yeah.
GDW 5A.
Go for the second shot. Yeah. You've got to come further back than that. Yeah, this ain't a microscope. I don't know. I think that's a 0. I think that's a 0.
There you go.
Yeah. Hynix 16GB A die.
Bit.
Okay.
Fucking glue strip.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Hynix A die. Is that any good?
Okay.
Do we care? Is that what we're after?
Yes, it's
I don't know.
my tool is stuck.
My tongue.
There you go. However, I like the fact that that's just a big sticky strip, and then the only actual thermal interface material is for the power management IC.
Yeah, the power management seems to be the bit that I actually care about cooling,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
And yes, it is a good one. It
Yeah.
should be the high clocking one.
Oh yeah, JD says, yeah, that's the good one. Okay, cool. So we've got a good kit here. So, all right, so... let's go back to desktop and bring up the script
Who thought
again.
this was a good idea?
Let's see. I remember Buildzoid literally wiring up an oscilloscope to those pads to figure out the current usage on that platform. Yeah, he's gone to town on these. PMIC is the hottest thing on a normal PCB.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we've got the Patriot. We picked this one. We picked this one because it's Hynix 16 gig A die. Hynix 16 Gbit A die.
It is a die.
Which is fast and good. Cool. So we picked the Patriot kit because it's Hynix 16 gig A die, which is fast and good. So this is good RAM. This RAM has the ability to go zoom.
Yes. Also, it's good RAM, not good RAM. That one brand on AliExpress.
I see. Is it Welsh? I don't know. Is it? A brief explanation on what the numbers are that we're paying attention to. All right. So, yeah. So we're not going to explain how to tune memory. That's outside of the scope of the video.
It's okay.
But, oh wow, they've got descriptions in each one of them. Neat. However, are there the profile that we're going to dial in? Is that like a complete sheet of all the timings,
Yeah.
or is there going to be like, are there particular ones that we're like, this is the number that we're trying to get lower, and everything else is relating to is in service of getting that number lower? Is that real?
Not overly.
We're just trying to make all the numbers lower. Okay.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, what I might do then.
There is a video from Buildzoid in the playlist I linked,
Yeah.
called "The Most Important Timings of DDR4" or something like that.
Yeah.
And basically, yes, there are.
Okay.
There are ones that are more important than others, and it's like T4 and. Was it TCWL? I can't remember.
Okay, so I'm going to say we've got a sheet of timings. Some are more important, but we have to do them all.
Yeah.
Again, more info in Buildzoid stuff. So yeah, go watch Buildzoid videos if you want all of the really dirty stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. All right then. Cool. All right. Then another thing that I also wanted to do is I wanted to slip in somewhere, which maybe in the intro, I want to talk about what actually are memory timings, and I want to try and put in. I'm probably going to prototype this myself this weekend because this is something that I can contribute to.
Yes.
There's a YouTube channel that I really like called Ben Eater.
Okay. Sure. I was going to say, did you just want to watch the video from Buildzoid that says, what are all of the timings on the AM5 platform?
No, because that's going to be 3 hours long.
It's only an hour and 15.
What I want to do is I might try and prototype that this weekend, see if it's possible, see if I can summarize in 5 minutes what timings are at a very high level, a la when you address the memory, there is a time taken to set the address lines, and then a time taken for the memory to see the address that you have set, and then a time taken before the memory responds with the data that is at that address. These are the timings. So
Yeah.
basically to actually explain what even is timings. And that explains why there are all these numbers. That's what this stuff is. We're not going to explain what every single number is, but that is a 30,000 foot overview of what we're manipulating here. But also, if that's going to add 15 minutes to the video runtime, then that's probably going to get cut.
I mean, maybe it should just be 2 videos, because people need to understand what RAM is at all before they even...
Well, in that case, that's outside of the scope of the video, and we should just cut it.
Sure.
We're assuming a certain level of knowledge for this.
Mm.
And if you don't have that level of knowledge, then you're not the target audience of the video anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Will it be worth mentioning rebar? No.
That's not relevant in the slightest.
Nope, out of scope. Yeah.
So that's a PCI Express protocol.
Yeah, that's
Which has
to do...
nothing to do with memory.
Yeah. Also, it's nothing to do with timings anyway. That is to do with stuff being transferred between memory banks and things like that, but it's nothing to do with how fast your memory goes. That's more to do with how much data the graphics card can obtain from memory at a time and things like that, which is completely separate to all of this.
The super short version of what our timings are, because RAM sticks are designed to be cheap and dumb, they don't tell the memory controller when they're ready. The memory controller just waits a certain amount of time and assumes the memory stick is ready.
Yeah. And I'll put in a separate section for this.
And the different timings are the delay for each operation.
What are timings? Okay.
So, yeah, that's kind of the super short version. Ooh, I have a special message.
Okay, right. Ooh. So, cut this if too long. Yeah, too long will just depend on how long the video ends up being.
Can I interest you in pages of data?
Pages and pages of numbers that I don't understand. Cool. All right. Video needs a primer or part 1 to discover RAM frequency and timings. Part 1 to show why they matter or don't. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Even more data.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, it sounds like there is a demand for a primer video to this. Yeah, okay, hang on a sec. Cut this. Okay, so if I can get it into 5 or 10 minutes, then we'll put it in. So 5-10 mins.
Because
else make part 1. Actually, I'm just going to say 5 minutes else to make part 1.
See, I would say make a 10-minute part 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Just, we'll say that now.
Yeah. Okay. I'll leave this in this set of notes, but I'll make part 1. I will start prototyping it this weekend because,
and also
we'll need to pad this out in a sec, but I can solo this bit myself.
Yeah. And what I would say is that what we want to do is try and condense a 30,000 foot overview of all of DDR4 and DDR5 content from the overclocking channels on YouTube, and basically give people the basic information to then jump into those videos and go, these words mean something, instead of just being noise.
All right, so
that's what I'm kind of saying is I think
if you and or JD want to do that, you are more than welcome.
But I think that's what that video is. What are timings? That's what I'm saying. It's it's taking all of that knowledge and saying, and it's also kind of saying clock speed, and just explain it and just doing the basic thing of also just the fact of RAM DDR5 6000 isn't a clock speed, and just quickly giving that information as well.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on a sec. Let me start writing this down.
Yeah.
So okay. So we're going to do 2 videos then. So yeah, we're going to have a part 1 then. So firstly, the opening bit is going to be memory access principles. So this is going to be like, I want to do this from the Benita perspective just because of my personal creative vision. That's what made me understand timings.
Yeah.
So because that's the way I understand it, that's how I want to teach that
bit. Yeah.
So I'm going to So Graham's bit. So this is going to be okay, right. Graham's bit. How memory is accessed. Yeah, how memory is accessed. I know what this is about. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to do that. We're going to explain how memory is accessed broadly, etc.
Yeah.
And Ben Eater reference shout out. I'm not going to say, I'm paraphrasing Ben Eater's video. Click here for more information if you want more. Okay, so then we're going to jump ahead and say, right, now you've learned what we're talking about, let's jump forward to modern memory. And then at that point, I would then say, okay, we can talk about all of these and we can condense this. So yeah, jump to, are we going to do that for DDR4 or 5? Because we've got to pick
It's
one.
functionally the what are timings thing.
Yeah.
It's functionally the same because we haven't overly changed the timings that are involved.
Okay, so jump to modern.
It changes if you go older than DDR4 because we changed the DDR3 to 4. There was a massive change in bank groups and so on and so forth. So the timings all got shifted.
Okay, that's good. So
doing 4 and
are
5,
yeah.
you can, for the purpose of the depth we're looking at for this primer,
Yeah.
you can talk about them as the same thing.
Cool, that's
just
fine. Yeah.
More modern,
Yeah, that's fine then.
more complicated,
Okay,
more modern.
so jump to modern. So then, okay, so at this point then, you're volunteering yourself to write this section. So what are you going to talk about? Or what are you going to write words that I will talk if you want me to say them? Because I don't know enough to do this overview. I will need someone else to write this bit. I don't understand this enough to explain it.
Oh, okay. I was viewing that more as a case of, and we jumped to more modern memory, and because of development of controllers and so on, we have a lot more timings now.
Yeah.
And we have more, and we have developed things, and we have now installed a higher number of bank groups and things like that, and then just say, and just kind of give that overview of what those components are,
cool.
and
That's
that's
what we
it.
say then. So
that was it.
Yeah. So now there are more timings like bank groups. So
And that and
which are what? What is a bank group?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it sounds really dumb. Is the statement of, but it's the grouping of the banks of the memory the memory rows,
Yeah.
and the memory rows are the actual
So is that how long it takes to select
capacitors.
which bank you're addressing?
Kind of. So you've got the capacitor that's actually storing the value.
Yeah.
They are then grouped up into rows,
Yeah.
and those rows are then grouped up into
Yeah.
the chips, and those chips are in bank groups.
Yeah.
And it's basically a case of you can access different bank groups effectively at the same time without having to wait.
Ah. Okay.
And that's
yeah.
why more of them are better, because you can do more
Yeah.
random accesses without having to wait for other timings. A memory bank is a logical unit of storage in computer's memory.
Yeah. Okay. So banks of memory can be selected, and so basically we're saying you can access an active one while another one is being selected at the same time, and so on. So allow for multitasking within the memory module.
It basically skips a whole bunch of the other timings.
Yeah.
You can only do one thing in a bank group at a time.
Yeah.
So if you have 8 bank groups, you can do 8 operations, 1 clock cycle after each other.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were trying to do it in the
okay.
same bank group, you'd have to wait for the timing of that bank group
right.
before you did the next action.
So actually, this allows for instruction queues, is what we're saying effectively, kind of. Yeah.
No.
That's the problem.
No,
we got a one-line.
because
How
the
do
bank,
we phrase this?
because you'd still be queuing the instruction for the bank group, but
Yeah.
it means that you can send out the requests faster.
Yeah.
You can send the instructions faster because there
okay,
are
yeah.
multiple things
Yeah.
doing those instructions.
Yeah, okay, so more instructions can be issued as part of a single operation.
No,
Yeah.
because there are more groups that can do operations. you can do operations faster.
Yeah.
The important part is the fact that they can't do them at the same time, as far as I understand, because you can't issue 2 instructions at once to a single memory stick, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
It's just the reason I want to avoid using the "at the same time" word, or "at once," which,
Yeah.
as far as I understand, it is not at once. It's a case of, say you have 40 cycles of
Yeah.
operations, by accessing different bank groups, all 40 cycles could be different things,
Yeah.
because you're avoiding timings.
Yeah. Okay. So banks of memory speed up operations by setting up multiple things
Yeah.
concurrently.
Yeah, and there you go. As JD says, you don't have to wait for it to complete the entire set of instructions before you do another thing.
More instructions to be
It's more instructions per second.
run concurrently. Yeah. Wait, hang on a sec. Does concurrently mean at the same time,
Yes.
or one after the other? Yeah, I want sort of
Consecutively
consecutively. Yeah.
would be one after the other.
Yeah. Consecutively. Yeah. Like, again, I know I'm asking for an impossible thing here, but
Yeah.
like that's the thing, is if you're
Well,
trying
yeah,
to
but that's
summarize,
why-
you need to one-line it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's kind of why we're going back and forth on it,
That's
to kind
it.
of
Yeah.
break out what bits of information are useful.
Yep. Okay.
And that's why I keep saying that the 16 gig kits, 8 gig sticks for DDR5
Yeah.
are crap, because they have half the number of bank groups.
Yes, understood.
And that's the reason for it.
Ah, yes, understood. Yeah. Cool. So the principles are the same. So the
Yeah.
principles are the same, but now there's more things.
Yeah.
Um,
And
It's just, hang on a sec. Much like with CPUs, concept is the same, but now there's a lot more dials and knobs.
yeah.
Because like a CPU works the same way that it did 40 years ago. Just now there's a lot more dials and knobs in it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the concept is the same. There's just a lot more that it
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
And that enables it to go faster. But
Yeah.
hypothetically, it is still doing the same conceptual thing. So yeah.
And it's the other thing as well. Just with that is obviously because of the way that kind of we've changed memory controller design. The memory controller is the only smart bit in the entire loop.
Yeah.
The memory stick doesn't know anything. The
Yeah.
memory stick doesn't know if the data's ready or not.
Okay, so
That's why the
yeah.
timings exist.
yeah. Stuff is handled. Okay, so in the initial thing, I will point out that the memory access. This was handled by just the CPU in the old days, whereas now we have a memory controller that does this for us. So the CPU doesn't have to do the work. There is discrete hardware for this.
Yeah.
Wow, that came to boil really quick. I'll just turn that off. Now we have memory controllers that handle this.
Yeah.
The RAM is dumb,
Yeah.
and the controller needs to know how fast it will respond. So the controller needs to know how fast it will respond, hence the timings. Those are the knowledge on how the memory behaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because of I don't know if you want to say evolution or because of just development and
Yeah.
whatever, that's why the primary timings are less relevant. The primary timings are less relevant because the design of memory controllers has changed from DDR1.
Yeah.
We've made it so the column address strobe is less relevant, so the CAS latency is less relevant because of the design of how data is stored and so
Yeah.
on. It is scattershot over more memory chips, more memory banks, so you hit those other timings
Yeah.
less frequently.
So primary, secondary, and tertiary timings have changed in relevance. Have changed in relevance because as certain timings are optimized, other timings become the new bottlenecks.
Yeah. And this comment from JD here is a better replacement for this bit about
Okay, yeah. Right.
where you said about
Yeah.
knowledge.
Right, not really knowledge on how it behaves, but more how long we're telling it to wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, hang on a sec. So now we have memory control around is done. The controller needs, the controller uses timings to decide how long
Yeah, to wait.
each part of an instruction. How long to wait for each part of the instruction? How long to wait? Ooh. How long? Oh my God! Ooh, this is why this is a really difficult video to make because it's really difficult, and this is why yeah. Oh, okay, right. How long to wait for each part of an operation? Yeah. Okay. I think we're there. Got to bounce. Have fun with the stream.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Reboot. Okay. Right. LTT once did a video where they compared two memory modules and the only difference was the number of chips. Yeah, see, that's the thing. There are some high-level stuff, you know, like double-sided, single-sided.
That's talking about the difference between X4, X8, and X16 chips.
Yeah, and ranks and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Are ranks relevant on desktop memory? I don't think they are they? On laptop memory, rank can be important because you can get crap modules that have...
these are single rank.
Yeah, I can't remember. Is single rank or dual rank better?
Dual rank is arguably better. However, the answer is you want at least 8 ranks.
Yeah.
No, start that again. You want at least 4 ranks. Start that again. The safest way of guaranteeing that you'll have that is by having 4 memory sticks. However, the better way of doing that is by having 2 sticks of dual rank, because you don't hit the clock penalty, the clock speed penalty.
But doesn't that make these crap if they're single rank then?
Because
or is it we've got fewer ranks, but we're going really fast on those ranks?
It's also a case of because it's DDR5.
Yeah.
And because the memory module is effectively split in half by comparison to DDR4, so you can access more things in parallel at a time. It becomes less relevant on DDR5.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Serdo, sorry if I'm butchering your name. You have Scandinavian letters in your name, and so I don't understand it.
Thorn?
I think so. Is that? Yeah, I think that might be a thorn. I'm sorry. Anyway, dual rank is very heavy on the memory controller. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah, that would make sense. So again, perhaps it's you know, go faster with fewer ranks rather than slower with multiple ranks and so on.
Yeah.
But again, this doesn't sound like something that you're going to actually be looking for when you select your memory kit. This sounds like how the manufacturers have chosen in order to achieve the speeds that they're advertising.
Half and half. With DDR5, because of the changes, kind of the effective doubling of channels and so on, it's less relevant. With DDR4, it was an element as to why BDI was good as well, because it was all dual rank and so on, and it could clock fast while still being dual rank and do the tight timings.
Perhaps
if fast and dual rank.
Perhaps if I offer a car analogy, if I want 300 brake horsepower from my car, one manufacturer might say, cool, here's 300 brake horsepower from a V6, and another one says, okay, well, I've got 300 brake horsepower from a four-cylinder turbo. Both of them are producing the same amount of power, they've just gone about it in different ways. And you might say, well, I quite like the feel of a turbo, so I prefer that method of getting to 300 brake horsepower.
Yeah.
Whereas someone else has said, yeah, but the six-cylinder is going to be a smoother ride, so I prefer that way. But ultimately, they're both aiming for power output, and they're just different ways of getting there. And some people may end up, much easier to read it as
Third Jan.
Okay.
Assuming that's where the stresses go.
Yes. I am terrible with language. I will apologise for this and then immediately...
I mean, you do English most of the time.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not terrible with English. The Oxford comma did nothing wrong.
You can leave.
Okay, cool. All right, so...
It's only used by hacks and sycophants.
all right. So, I say this purely because I know it'll get a rise out of you. All right, so our part 1 seems to be complete then. So I will prototype this weekend and see how long that comes out at. I
don't know if I'll make JD angry or not.
What?
Because he'll reply going, "Wear merch video."
I might do that as well. If I make one video, I'll make multiple videos. If I'm making videos, I'm doing video creation. It's either that or I'll just carry on making my Minecraft house in Blender.
Oh, God.
So yeah. Look, I don't get to choose where my hyperfixation is. Right, okay, so there seems to be material there. I guess I've kind of got to try and just bash that out and see what it looks like. There's 10 or 15 minutes of material there. So that justifies it being a separate video and not being part of the main video.
Yeah.
It also means that we can skip past that. So that's part 1. So actually in the intro...
the intro is going to be what we're doing.
Yeah, so actually...
But it's also, we're still going to say that memory timings are a dark science and so on, hence our explainer.
So what I'm going to say then is, so at the end of the intro, we're going to say, the start of all this is the question, what are timings?
The what?
And I've put a high level overview in a separate video linked below. So are we going to release both these videos at the same time on the main channel, or are we going to put the what are timings on the second one? I think it should be a part 1 and a part 2.
I would do it as a part 1 and part 2 on the main channel.
Yeah.
Separated by a couple of days, so they don't get algoed into the Stone Age.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so in the previous video, so...
Yeah. Yes.
Overview in the previous video.
Yeah.
Linked down below. So that also means that in this one we need to do... This is part 1 of our intro to memory timings.
This is part 4 of a trilogy.
This is part 1 of intro to memory timings, where we'll discuss how they matter and don't matter. Right, it's part 1 we'll discuss how they matter and don't matter. Before we dive into the weeds, we felt it was necessary to do this primer. Main video will follow this one in a few days, or if you're a time traveler from the future, is already out. And linked
I love that
down
line.
below. Cool. All right, nice. Okay, groovy. I'd be very interested to see some benchmarks between single rank and dual rank modules at the same speed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus did this when Ryzen 5000 came out.
Oh, cool. So that content exists then.
Yes.
Yeah. I think discussion of ranks and stuff is outside the scope of the video, but for the purposes of this conversation, it's interesting to say that that does exist. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's jump forward again. So we've done that. AMD and Expo. What the hell is AMD and Expo? What kits we're testing?
Who is Lisa Su?
Are we testing any other kits? No, because we've got that's going to be scope creep. We don't really care about testing. We've got a bog standard Corsair kit, the kind of thing that we would suggest people buy, and this is the kind of kit you'd buy if you want to buy fancy memory. You're looking for Hynix A die kind of thing. Blah blah blah. So yeah, no, we're not testing any other kits. We've got a fast kit and we've got a standard kit. We're not going for. I think for the slow kit, we'll just run the Corsair kit at basic bitch speed with no profile on it.
Which makes sense because you want to show the comparison.
Yeah. So we've got our slow, we've got our medium in that kit, and then we've got our fast kit. We don't bother running the Patriot kit at JDEC specs because who cares? You don't buy it and run it at JDEC. So yeah. Okay. Right. Test suite. So we're gonna do this. Okay. This harkens back to the CPUs we're doing. So we're going to do this with the 2 AMD CPUs, and are we going to do it on the Intel as well?
We can do, yeah. I don't think that makes any difference.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, all we're going to do is
just means running the tests on that one as well.
And all we're going to basically do, I would imagine, is go screenshot of result, screenshot of result, screenshot of result.
Yeah.
With voiceover.
Cool. Because I'm happy to again. This is dependent on how many platforms you want to sit and set up for me. I'll happily sit and run benchmarks on them for you while you sit on the sofa with a coffee, but I need you to set the platforms up because I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. JD says skip the Intel.
I think.
I mean, if we're just going to stick it on the chart as results, we could say...
Yeah. If we're effectively bar graphing it,
it
makes sense. Because I think providing this information to both AMD and Intel users is important and useful, but it's also the fact that Intel is not relevant right now.
Yeah.
In the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
It just isn't relevant.
What was this again? A 265?
Yeah, 265K.
Yeah. We've got we've got an i7 265. We're putting on the charts, but we'll gloss over the setup of that because Intel isn't relevant right now.
Yeah.
QQ. I mean, let's face it, there's going to be, if I say Intel isn't relevant right now, there's going to be some people screaming down to the comments section to be like, right,
I mean,
the numbers are what they are, my dude. What do you want from me?
Engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, Intel isn't of any import to the standard DIY scene. Yeah, yeah. And like, in the nicest possible way, if JD and I are saying that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. So. All right. So 7800X3D and 7500F. Both.
Do you have?
Both like speed up to around 6,000.
Sorry, what did you just say?
Both like speed up to around 7800X3D and 7500F. Both like speeds of up to around 6,000.
Oh, yeah.
Which is around where Fabric will start topping out.
Yeah.
Right. X3D has a big cache, which means fewer memory calls.
I wasn't paying attention to it.
So yeah, X3D has a big cache, which means.
Yeah. That's good enough phrasing.
Yeah, which means fewer memory calls, and thus will be less sensitive to timings. 7500F should scale with timings.
I still love the React that JD stuck in there.
Yeah. Won't somebody please think of the subtimings?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We got an Intel, we don't care. So benchmarks and why we picked them. So, what benchmarks are we going to run? So we're going to run Cinebench because Cinebench doesn't care. Cinebench R20? Yeah, R20.
Maybe. I have
R23,
currently
sorry.
installed.
Yeah,
Or
sorry. I always
downloaded,
get 2024 and R23 mixed up.
Yeah, 11.5, 15, 23, and 24.
Yeah.
24 should be affected slightly, just because it's a bigger data set, so
Yeah,
it's
so-
outside of cache,
Yeah, so we're using Cinebench because it doesn't care.
because it's
That's-
small enough to fit
yeah,
in the cache.
That's our example of
Yeah.
does not care. And also,
Yeah.
Cinebench is a benchmark that people take seriously, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it has its purposes, but
Yeah.
Cinebench is a flawed benchmark. It does spit out a number, but that number measures certain things.
Yeah.
And it does not care about memory speed. Therefore, it's a really good candidate for demonstrating when memory speed doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because the point is, some people will make videos where they'll be like, look, I turned XMP on and off and my Cinebench score stayed the same. XMP doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a flawed test because Cinebench doesn't care.
Yeah.
So that's why we use that. So Cinebench R23 because it doesn't care. Right. So we're going to run, and then we're going to run. What are we running for? Does care benchmark? Ycruncher?
I don't know what the most affected is. I would imagine it's going to be Ycruncher or Limpack.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Should we say which one is more relevant on the benchmarking scene? Linpack,
Either, both.
Yeah.
Probably Ycruncher.
Ycruncher.
Ycruncher like 1 billion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say Ycruncher then.
Yeah.
Okay. Ycruncher. What does Ycruncher do? Maths.
Yeah.
All right.
It does. It does different workloads depending on what you tell it to do. Because it has a little selector for it. I'm going to see if I can actually launch it and just show you.
All right, hold on a sec. Let me just switch to thing. OBS. Capture with face.
Oh, no. Okay.
Capture.
Oh. Oh, I see. Okay, no, it is just pi. Okay, my mistake.
Oh, is Ycruncher just calculating pi to a billion?
Yeah, 25 million, 1 billion, 2.5 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, or 25 billion places.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, so Ycruncher is calculating very big pi numbers, but the important thing is it scales with memory speed.
There you go. 25 million places of pi in 0.284 seconds.
And that will get a better result with more memory speed.
In theory, yeah.
In theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll probably have to use a bigger number. But yes.
Okay, cool. Very well.
Oh, there you go.
Alright
It's
then.
actually doing some maths now.
Oh, just as I've switched off. Hang on a sec. We need to see it doing maths. Ah, behold, maths.
Yes. You may just about see above the 2 of pi 2.5 billion at the bottom. It says summing.
Numbers. We have the biggest numbers. We have the best numbers. We have a lot of numbers here. We love numbers.
Numbers. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the Geekbench memory test is a synthetic or Ada. Ada less so because it's not doing. It's Ada specifically set up to hit like peak bandwidths and or minimum latencies.
I'm tempted to say that Geek 6 memory test isn't useful because that's testing memory specifically. So it goes without saying that it'll give a big number. But then Ycruncher is just as arbitrary, surely.
Effectively.
Yeah.
But like also in gaming, we're not necessarily expecting the average FPS to change that much if you're running a game benchmark.
Yeah,
it's going
we're
to be
gonna
the
get to
1%
those.
and 0.1% lows that are the most affected.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's move on to games then, because obviously, we've got two desktop, so we've got two games, and now we want to do a couple of games. So, what is a game that doesn't care about memory speed?
Pong.
Thanks. We need a game that doesn't care about memory speed, and we need a game that has been shown to have improvements with memory speed.
Horizon Zero Dawn is improved by, I believe, timings, but definitely frequency. Minecraft, apparently, from what JD said. I've not seen data on that, but yeah, I've also seen data on Helldivers.
Is that
improved.
Minecraft Java or?
I don't know.
Yeah,
JD just said Minecraft.
I see.
He's probably some sort of kid
JD,
who
elaborate.
forgets that Java exists.
Yeah, and what was the second one that you had just said off?
Helldivers.
Helldivers. And does that like or dislike?
That improves performance with tighter timings.
Okay. Minecraft and Helldivers do likes timings. I like the idea of doing Helldivers just because that's accessible and a relevant game that people like right now.
Yeah. Also, I think GTA 5.
Yeah. Okay.
And GTA 5 could be quite interesting because it's still in the top 5 of most played games on Steam.
Okay.
There's lots of content, Graham. You could get in on this.
It's too late. I've missed the boat. The joke here is that every time people get into GTA 5, I'm just like, I've missed the boat on GTA 5. And I've said that many times across many years because somehow that game is still relevant.
It's still relevant because there's lots of new content, Graham.
Mm-hmm.
There's been all new missions introduced only last month.
Cool.
Hours of content.
I'll get in on that. All right. Okay. Well, we've got Helldivers 2 and Zero Dawn, which both Zero Dawn likes speed. I think I'm gonna commit to Helldivers 2 because we believe that one likes timing specifically,
Yeah.
and I think that's really what we're gunning for because like it costs a couple of quid to get the 6,000 over the 5,600 anyway. So like it goes without saying that you're going to buy 6,000. It's just a matter of whether you care about looking for the CL30 or the CL36.
Oh yeah, that was frequency as
Yeah.
in 6,000 versus 8,200.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a case of I know that timings were a thing on it.
I think we're targeting timings here because high frequency is difficult with AMD and introduces a whole swath of other problems that are outside of the scope of this video.
Yeah, it is
Because-
certainly not set and forget in the same
And
way.
actually, we need to say that. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
So what we're testing, we're aiming at 6,000.
Congratulations on your 17,000% CPU
running
utilization.
Faster is very complicated on AMD and thus out the scope of the video. At 6,000, Fabric clock is at 3 gigahertz, which is, and it doesn't like going faster than that. Meaning you then have to make big jumps and run ratios that
Yeah,
still...
Fabric's 2,000, not 3,000.
Okay. How's the 2,000 get to 6? That would be trip...
No. It's because it's not 1-to-1-to-1 because it's AM5. It's different now.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fine, yeah, okay, so...
It's because Fabric maxes out at 2,000.
Okay, yeah.
Also, the guarantee on Fabric maxes out at 2,000, basically.
Yeah.
A reasonable number of chips will do like 2033, 2066 sort of thing.
Yeah,
but obviously
again,
that's not a RAM timing.
We're deep in overclocking at that point, which is, again, outside the scope of the video because we're not expecting the average person to do that. So yeah, we're aiming at 6,000 because running faster than that is complicated on AMD and that's outside of the scope of this video. At 6,000 megatransfers, your Fabric clock will be at 2 gigahertz and it doesn't really like going faster than that, meaning you've got to make big jumps in your memory megatransfer speed to get to big ratios that will still leave your Fabric clock at a high speed.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just aim for 6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so we've covered that. And yeah, we've reiterated that in the test suite. Both of these like speed at about 6,000, which is where the Fabric tops out. I'm going to cut that from here because we've explained it in the previous one. So when we run our tests, are we going to be running our tests at 6,000? Or we?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't see why we do it at anything
Yeah.
else. Well,
Okay, I'll script it into
on
6,000.
AMD it will be at 6,000.
Yeah, yeah.
On Intel it will be the fastest I can get those timings to work out.
Cool. Okay, so at some point we
Which
can
will be
stick
a
in a
separate
note and say that
conversation.
on the Intel one we just tried to go as fast as we could because we're able to.
Yeah, because we've got an overclocking board, overclocking RAM, etc.
Yeah, so we can put that in as just a. Here's one where it's easy to get hilariously fast memory speeds, so we're able to show a bigger gap. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that when we get to the results. Okay,
Oh.
right. Helldivers likes timings. Okay, what doesn't care about timings? We need a game that doesn't care. So yeah, JD, do we know any games that don't care? I guess there's probably a lot of them, to be honest, which is going to be one of our conclusions, is that a lot of games probably don't care.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd imagine it's also stuff that's less CPU bound.
Yeah. So I guess we could just lob in a couple of just popular benchmarks and run those anyway and just say we ran a couple, because at the end, actually no, we want to run a suite of like say 3 or 4 games, and we want to specifically drop in one that we know will definitely give a result to make sure that we actually get a result worth talking about. Which is not to say that we're loading the test, but to make sure that the test actually covers scope.
Yeah.
And theoretically, between the other 3 games, we should see one that didn't really care and one that cared a slight amount or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the important thing is that there's a game in there that we know will definitely care in order to show both sides of the story. That's the point of the video, is to show both sides of the story. So let's say, I'm trying to think of games that I own or the games that we can run. What's a popular benchmark these days? I guess we could run one of the F1 games because those are popular with benchmarking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So F1, what's
24.
24.
23 or 22 or 21. Take your pick. We can do the most recent one.
Okay, let's do
because
24
it's the
then.
most recent one.
Yep, okay, so 24. Isn't Counter-Strike one of the most used games? Yeah, we should put an esports game in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure, Counter-Strike. So, what, CSGO or CS2?
Whatever the current modern version is.
Yeah, I guess that would be Counter-Strike 2, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because Go doesn't exist, as far as I'm
Oh,
aware.
has it been replaced by 2? Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Here's a quick example of how Pi Prime cares about XMP, not XMP. That's with XMP with a dropped T4.
Yeah.
That's it without it. We're basically 2 seconds different.
Yeah.
So we can use Pi Prime to show that timings and so on matter.
Okay, Pi Prime, not Y Cruncher.
Certainly, I haven't tested Y Cruncher, but yeah, I'll do that in 2 secs.
Pi Prime. Yeah.
Pi Prime.
Pi Prime. Hello again, Si. What's the timer on, actually, by the way? How long have we been sitting here waffling? 2:45. Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, okay. Cool. Right, so we've got F1. F1, Counter-Strike 2. There another token gesture one we can lob in there just to make 4 games. That's a nice round number.
I still think we should look at GTA 5.
GTA 5? Sure. GTAV. GTAV! Okay. All right. Okay, so we've got these games. Likes timings because esports. Yes, and that, so we've got Counter. Yeah, let's shuffle those around.
Council strike. Oh no, the council, they're on strike.
Cool. General game bench. General game bench.
Ah yes, general games.
Yep, we've picked these for no specific reason other than they are. It is a modern game in benchmarks, an old game in benchmarks. Counter-Strike 2 because it's an esports game that will have high frame rates, and Helldivers 2 because we believe this one likes memory timing, so we're expecting to see a result from it.
Yeah.
And also Helldivers 2 is a relevant game these days. So it demonstrates that memory timings can help you in games that you might play.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Anyone can show that this matters in synthetic benchmarks, but no one cares about synthetic benchmarks because they're synthetic.
Yeah.
So we're doing that to demonstrate that it's real in theory, and the games are here to demonstrate that it's real in practice.
Yeah.
That's the intention here. What's with the green bottle? This is the wine that we've been drinking. Hello. All right, results and conclusions. So our results should track with our hypothesis, which is that memory timings matter in some things but not in other things. So therefore, it does matter if you're doing a thing where it matters.
Yeah.
But now you have to go and learn RAM tuning, which you probably won't do, so just run 6000 CL30 and you'll be good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bunch of other quick game tests. I'm going to cut that section because we're running like 4 games. We don't want to run much more than that because otherwise we're going to be here for a month testing games. Because we've got to run those games on 3 different platforms we've just signed ourselves up for. In fact, 4 because we've got a high speed and a low speed, possibly even 5 because we're doing high speed and low speed on the Intel. So now we've got to run 4 times 5 tests. So yeah, no, we're not running another bunch of other quick game specs. The rest of your CPU, the rest of your spec, GPU, etc., is 95% of your gaming performance. So unless you're squeezing out every last drop, you'll be fine on just 6000 CL30. So we're expecting to see a result, but we're not expecting it to be a world of difference.
Yeah, basically.
Spider-Man Remastered seems to care a lot. I'll put that on the list and we'll add it or skip it. Spider-Man Remastered. Cool. But if you want to put in the time, then this is what you can expect to see from those results.
Pretty much.
And that's the end of the video. Is there anything else that we have not covered that we think this video should cover? I believe we've done things. We've made our hypothesis and we've answered our hypothesis. So, yeah. Do we reckon we've got everything in there now? I think that's everything. I think that answers the question pretty good. Good. Right, okay. I'm going to say yes to that. Close out video. Cool. That is all sorted then. Right, okay, I'm going to switch back to Facecam. Cool. So, with all of that being said, we've scripted our video. We need to decide when we're actually going to try and record it. I need to see when I'm available because I've got stuff coming up on the end of the month. So we might be skipping a week soon. TM, I can't remember. So yes, seems you've fairly covered all the bases. Yeah, I think we've got everything there. All right. What are you up to at the moment, Caradog? Are you bashing in some fast timings to see what happens?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to switch to capture with face. Oh, we're apparently capturing without face at the moment. How about that one? Aha, we exist. So this is Caradog tapping in some timings that he's got from a timing sheet. So this is what it takes to actually tune the memory. This is assuming that you have known timings.
Yeah, I'm just going to set a random smattering of them.
So essentially what we need to do is, well, I guess if you found some timings that work for certain memory, yeah, once we find some memory timings that work, theoretically, we're hoping those are going to work across all the CPUs.
Yeah, they should do.
Because that's what the memory kit is capable of.
Yeah, it'll be a case that I can't see a case where it wouldn't.
All right. So, can still depend from stick to stick though. Maybe. Well, these timings will be for our specific kit, so we're aiming for a profile that we've got that should work for those chips. But yes, obviously, if that profile doesn't work directly, then we go for that profile and then back up a little bit, kind of thing. But yeah, this is what that's a target, so to speak. Right. I'm trying to think. I'm basically just trying to think, can we do this next week, basically? Oh, my days. I accidentally messed up a schedule for something in my calendar. I have an event called Gaming that's just blocked out for an entire month. So just for an entire month, I'm just gaming. Right, where are we today? We're on the 18th. So next weekend will be the 25th. Trying to think what I had coming up at the end of the month. I can't think what it was. I'm going to say the only thing coming up is just when we were going clubbing again.
Yeah, which is the first.
Yeah, that must have been the one, because the first, that's just sort of end of the month. So yeah, and that's 2 weeks from now. Yeah, okay. So if I bring my PC in, next week, we could start recording data, and we could do that as the podcast, because the video itself is going to be scripted. So we can basically just we'll record, and we can use that as just B-roll footage during the scripted video. So yeah. Okay. Turnip Gaming, hello and thanks for the $5. Would BeamNG Drive be a good benchmark to test the RAM? I don't know. Do you know if that cares about RAM speed? Because I don't know. But also, BeamNG is one of those games where only people who play it know about it, kind of thing. Yeah, like if anyone knows, if you can find out, then we'll look into it. But it's not a game like I know that BeamNG exists, but it's one of those games which it's one of those weird games where people only care about it if they're in that space.
Yeah.
It's an oddball game. Let's see. JD says, Graham, is the AM5 hardware your daily system? Yes. We'll need the data before jumping into the video creation. Yeah. So basically, next week the idea is next week I'll bring in my PC and we'll do data collection basically.
Yeah. Just make some bar charts.
So yeah. F1, yes, we will be. F1 will be one of the games that we do, because F1 it's a good benchmarking game. F1 tends to pop up on a lot of people's benchmark suites just because it has good scaling. It is a good demonstration of performance of CPU and or graphics card. So yeah, because that begs the question, well, what is a good game for benchmarking? And the answer to that is it's a game that scales well on hardware. So to answer that question, a bad example is, for example, Doom 2016 tops out at 200 FPS-ish.
Yeah.
And that means it's a really bad game for benchmarking, because once you hit 200 FPS, it doesn't go any faster, which means that and it's not particularly difficult to hit 200 FPS in Doom 2016 these days. So that would make basically a mid-range to Halo tier graphics card look exactly the same. So that makes it a bad benchmark because it's limited to 200 FPS. A good benchmark is a game that will just keep going faster the more horsepower you throw at it. So it shows a good disparity between the performance of the hardware. So yeah. Cool. All right. So we're doing some Y cruncher tests now. Again, just checking what kind of results we get.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. What's your conclusions?
I enabled XMP and reduced T4, and the timing is 1.5 seconds different, which is a reasonably large amount in favour of running XMP.
Okay. So 1.5 seconds across 20 seconds. Well, that's what, 10%-ish? No, sorry. Yeah, what's 1.5% of 20? I'm trying to rationalize this number.
Yeah.
What is 1.5% of? It's 1% of 20. What is 1%? Oh my God! Think, Graham. 10% of 20 would be 2. So yeah, across 20 seconds, 1.5 seconds is that's a good sort of 15%. My brain is mush. Am I mathematicking correctly?
Oh, what you're working out what the speed up is as a percentage. Right, sorry. I was
1.5 seconds doesn't sound like very much, but if you said that's 15% faster, oh, okay, that's quite a lot, you know.
Oh, I see. The
I'm
percentage speed up is about 10%.
10%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Forgive me, people.
I couldn't. I was waiting for you to get to a point where I was following what you were trying to work out. Because I was just kind of going, 1% of 20. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got 0.2.
Yeah.
I don't know how that relates to 1.5, but okay. I'm sure you're doing something here.
I'm trying to do something.
I'm waiting for the flash of genius.
Yeah. Okay. So, right.
Oh, you want percentage difference between? Yeah.
Is what percent of 20?
That's what you were looking for. Yeah, it's 7.5%.
Oh my God, 7.5%. Yeah. Whatever that conversion was trying to do, it was doing it wrong. 7.5%. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So 7.5%. So yeah, there we go. 7.5% performance increase. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that going to change your world in a game? Maybe. You need to get to about 10% before you probably can perceive any meaningful difference. However, 7.5% is certainly outside the margin of error. That is demonstrative increase in performance, which is what we're aiming for. So yeah. All right. Cool. Okay. I think... Yeah, we're at 3 hours. Right, I think I've enjoyed this conversation in English then. We've planned a video out, and next week, if I bring in my PC on Saturday and let you go ham on it, well, we can start bashing in memory profiles, and I guess to a certain extent, we've got to make sure that my PC will actually do what we need it to do. And the reason why we're using my PC is purely because it is a decent, known good AM5 platform. I don't have a lot of AM5 stuff lying around. It's the only AM5 stuff I've got lying around. That's why I've chosen my PC. It's not for vanity. It's just because it's the only AM5 platform that I own right now. Yeah. And I've got the 7800X3D in there, which is why we're not using the 9800X3D. Actually, I've got to mention that in the video. The reason why we're not using a 9800X3D is because I don't own one and I'm not paying 500 quid for one.
Yeah.
Which means, okay, right. No 9800X3D because I don't own one.
Oh, how do I get...
And the 7500F is cheap.
Cheap.
Yeah, and I
like
do
the
own
budgie.
one. Yep. Oh, fun fact. That wretched X670 gigabyte motherboard.
Yes.
I got a call from the Amazon depot.
Right.
And they said, "You sent this board in to us, but there was no request for repair." I'm like, I went to
there's a request for a refund. That's why.
Oh, okay, yeah. I went to the Amazon website and it said, "Here's your return sticky label," and I put that on the box and sent it. And they're like, "Okay." I'm like, "Fix it or refund it. I don't care. I hate this wretched board. I want it gone." and they're like, we're going to try and fix it for you. I'm like, okay. And I said, if you send it back to me and it still doesn't post, I will just send it back to you. I will keep doing this until I get a refund or a working board. So, keep that in mind when you work on this. I will keep sending it back until I get a board that works. I don't care what it takes. So, yeah. Use the same label twice. Maybe, I don't know. So, yeah.
How do I actually download the X265 benchmark?
I don't know what that is.
This bench,
Oh, yeah. Hardware
I want to
X265.
download this.
Ah.
And JD's going to be like, you sodding idiot. I'm going to be like, yes, I know. But that doesn't change the fact. Do I have to be signed in?
Don't know. Next video in the tube, also don't know. There's a really basic no post on Sundays, so I'm probably going to bash that together
Yes.
because I'm not sure what else I've got lined up at the moment. You avoid it like the plague.
Damn it, JD.
So the idea is, the response to that is, oh my God, no one cares, oh my God, no one cares. All right. I have a big edit to. I probably do. Right, I might be live on Twitch tomorrow. It depends on what I'm doing with Page Cartoons, because I'm planning a collab with Page, which might be on a Monday, in which case I won't be streaming tomorrow, I'll be streaming on Monday. So I have no answers for when I'll next be live. If you care, then join the Discord, and there are pings in the Discord when I'm doing stuff. So yeah. The Benchmate is outdated, apparently.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's just
fine.
it's just the version I had on.
Yeah. We'll
Flash
update
drive.
that before we do anything for real, but also
Yeah.
it doesn't particularly matter because we're not submitting scores.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will update
Yeah.
it.
The
but
scores
I
are
forgot.
irrelevant. The difference between the scores is what we
Oh,
care
see
about. So yeah. Right, yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're out of here. We'll be back next Saturday, probably doing benchmarking on stuff. So yeah.
Yes.
Until next time, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for being here and all the rest of it. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Now would be a good
You
time
are
to
not
insert
signed
ads.
in.
Oh no. We are signed in though. I signed in during. End stream. Goodbye.
Bye.